You heard right. 123 Mobile Car Wash is offering services in Kingston and St. Andrew and St. Catherine. We shampoo and detail cars, trucks, offices, and more. No job too small. Call us at 876-631-3400. 123 Mobile Car Wash. We come to you.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
Bess100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minett and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Bess100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back, and thank you very much for waiting on us. The sun really is amazing this morning. It's like coming right into our face. We have to be careful of that, Percival. Too much radiance.
No, man.
We will look angelic.
Yeah. Psalms 29 says, "Give unto the Lord, O ye mighty, give unto the Lord glory and strength. Give unto the Lord the glory due unto his name. Worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness." You know, as we continue to reflect this week in terms of who God is and that he is able to do only what he alone can do, and because he remains God up in the heavens, upon the earth also, we have to be so mindful to honor him, to give him reverence. And we're just reflecting on all the events of the week. And it just came to me in solid focus that, you know, with all of the things that we're doing, if we honor God the way that he's supposed to be honored, then some of the schemes and the shenanigans that we get up into, we wouldn't do it.
We wouldn't even be drawn to it.
Yeah, because we would recognize, you know, Father, what you know. And we have to be accountable at some point in time for the things that we do. And I think we've gotten into a way of being and doing where it don't turn out the way we want to do, and we keep on spinning it. It become
the PR.
The public relation.
Machinery gets into high gear.
And I'm saying,
and rather than keep quiet and be reflective
on the wrongs that we have done.
And seek a path to fixing it.
Yes.
We keep speaking.
Yeah.
And in so doing, we make it a lot worse.
So it becomes so important for us to understand what we're doing and where we're going. And in the headline this morning, I see something about legacy. And I remember in the chat, somebody kept asking the question, what is or what will be this Prime Minister's legacy? And there's a headline in the paper today that somebody is eyeing their legacy.
Oh.
Oh, God of grace.
Yes,
you know
it did come up in the call-in program.
You know, it is interesting. People who leave real legacies don't think about that, you know.
And don't plan it.
They don't plan it. They go about doing
live.
good, doing what is right, and their legacy lives on. And I'm just reflective. In the last month or so, I've done a funeral for a 97-year-old gentleman, and I did a funeral for 83-year-old lady, or 85, 86. They never had anything, you know. They wouldn't be rich according to
The standards
the
of the
standards
world.
of the world. But when you go to a funeral and you see 300-500 people gathered, and you notice that it's not only old people, you see older people, middle-aged, children
all
coming
generations.
together, and then you see, in terms of the tributes, young people coming up and say, Granny or uncle or so and did that, they always had a good word. You know that legacy lives on because the memories are in people's hearts.
Well, you know there's a legacy.
You know there's a legacy.
Because for some, there is no legacy.
Yeah.
None to remember them, none to speak kindly of them.
Yeah, and that
no
becomes,
institution that they influenced or no impact.
Yeah, no impact. And I don't think those persons, in listening to the stories and the tribute and so on, they never say, all right, now go do this. I want them to remember me this way. They didn't.
Yeah.
They just knew that in their goings and doings, they always had to have good heart.
Mind you,
good motivations.
The headline, as always, headlines seek to tell their own story. And it is in reading the article that you get the drift of what he was saying. In all fairness, he was not speaking to his own legacy. He was addressing what will Jamaica be when he is gone, and saying he is trying to make decisions that would secure a better Jamaica, leave Jamaica different from how he saw it. So here's how, this is what he's reputed to have said. It doesn't matter to me anymore. I have to start to think about legacy. What will Jamaica be? Will it be the same as I came and saw it? I can't let it be the way I came and saw it, Holness said, while delivering the main address at the handover ceremony for 30 detached 2-bedroom units in the first phase of housing development in St. Catherine, the same St. Catherine that he traumatized with the bulldozers.
Is that legacy based on the, is that the scheme that you're on the highway where we go? Some of those units are completed.
Lord. You mean the place that you and I keep?
The matchbox houses?
The matchbox houses. I don't know, really. I don't know what that scheme is called.
And where exactly is it in regards to?
Thank you. Yeah, the sun was getting too much for me.
It is said of Jesus, went about doing good, even though he had to go into the face of the status quo to challenge it and to say, do you know, the heart of my Father is people at the center. It is not about the power brokers. It's not about anybody like that. It is simply about doing good. And God has revealed his heart to us in terms of how we must relate, how we must be towards one another. And Jesus, in leaving, says, all right, we've been talking about this law thing a very long time. Let me tell you what it really means to obey the Lord. Yes. Just what the law is about, to really practice. Yeah. James says it's about how you deal with the widows and the poor. This is what it is. That's in James. But Jesus summing up says, love the Lord. Yes. Love the Lord your God with everything that is in your being. But this love now is truly manifested if you love your neighbor as yourself. And there's a part of that which says that you have to hold yourself in right view of how God sees you. That's important, you know. God sees us as the apple of his eye. We might be falling, but he has made the provision.
We might be a fallen apple.
We might be a fallen apple. I like how you put it. We might be a fallen apple, but
still the apple of his eye.
Still the apple of his eye. And he's redeemed us so that we are even better than we first were in terms of this new covenant. But,
but you know, in saying that, I mean, I know a lot of times when we talk about how our leaders disappoint, it may well come across as if the leaders are themselves unlovable. And it is far from being so. The Prime Minister is himself an apple in
Yes,
the eye of God.
right.
And all of the leaders who are exercising the authority that He has permitted them to have, amassing the resources, the wealth that is in the world for the benefit and comfort of the citizens, they are also in the plan of God, a part of who He cares about. And sometimes when we see things continuing for longer than we desire, it's not because God is being cruel to us, it's because He is being merciful to them. Because for every day that you wake up and go out to work, you have an opportunity to do better than you did the day before. And I'm always struck by how often you see it being a reference being made to, like, time being given to nations, to people to make that correction.
To go back to the path.
Go back to the path. It does take time in the construct of things. It will not happen overnight or miraculously, because for you to be even satisfied or convinced that behavior has changed, you have to see it being worked out over a period of time. So even when we are feeling the brunt of somebody's misguided or bad policy, they themselves are a work in progress in the eyes of God, and He's giving them time to correct. So what He will give you is the grace to endure.
Yeah, that's true.
So He gives one time to connect the correction, and He gives the people the grace to endure it. Many might ask, why hasn't Jamaica erupted into some state of greater chaos than we're experiencing? Anarchy. It's because the leaders are being given time to correct, and the people are being given the grace to bear it. But there will be a cutoff.
There'll be a point.
There'll be a point when you have exhausted, and it is time for the judgment.
Yeah, and that is coming, but I would love very much that our leaders, and I'm speaking to myself because I'm a leader, when I get up in the morning, I am saying, Lord, the actions that I do, may it represent you and present you in a way that says that you are a loving God, a God who is a merciful God. So even in everything that I'm doing now, I think there's a greater consciousness and awareness that even as I'm walking, I'll be held accountable for my actions. And if each person were to do that and to bring that into their consciousness in terms of their consideration every day, I think it would shift up. It would shift a lot of the things that we see happening every day. Even in terms of how we just deal with each other and some of the things that we get up to, I'm saying.
But you are walking in a way that exemplifies your submission to the authority and the supremacy of God as the center of your life and your decision making. When you submit yourself in that way, yes, every morning you wake up, you take instructions from your Creator. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have a to-do list that you had settled on the night before.
No, man, yes, there's a to-do list, and it helps you when you get in all the to-do list help you.
I shall soon discover.
You soon discover. No, I discovered. I run from it. When I write it down, I can go back and say,
but then you're going to have to remember where you wrote it down.
Yeah, but
there are levels. There are levels.
No, there's a little book, man. You know the little pretty book that I have that you commented on. That my beloved Michelle gave to me. Good morning, darling. How are you?
Yeah, we really do need to give a special shout out to Mrs. Palmer, who lends you to us so early in the morning every day for 4 days of the week. Good morning, Michelle. I do look forward to seeing you soon. I've been asking Pastor Percival. I've been asking Pastor Percy
the penny section over there saying something.
I know, we ignore the penny section. Today is a day for dollars.
Some dollars for
I'll take no
true.
pennies today. Yeah, but really a special shout out to Michelle. And Miss Eden.
Yes.
Hi,
Eden. Good morning, Eden.
Blessing Miss Eden is on her way to work. I thank you, sir. So college, job. God is answering prayers in that direction.
Oh, so, bless God.
Bless God indeed. She's heading off to work.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. Wow.
What's that thing? So many things happen quickly.
So many.
So mine
things.
won't cut mine on underway.
You know you're next in the list of God.
No man, me want you to come up ahead of me, because if you come up ahead of me, I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay.
Either way, that is the running joke in the house. Whoever gets blessed, it's good for the other one.
Yes, it is.
No competition.
It is. And that speaks another principle. You know?
Yes, it
when
does.
somebody is blessed, let us be happy for them. Let's celebrate them. Because this is where envy got the green-eyed months are coming to the wake, and they say, so what happened to me?
What happened to me? And you start to try and steal the other man's blessing instead of celebrating it so that its abundance will overflow in your direction.
Yeah, man.
That's how we look at it.
Be happy. Be happy for people. Yeah. Don't be envious of people. Give thanks.
But you posed a very interesting scenario earlier. When you wake up, what you do? You check with your creator and confirm instructions for the day.
What you say?
And you look at what you're doing, and you position yourself. So
and always open to
as
shift.
you step out, you're on point.
Yeah.
So then you wonder, what do other leaders do when they get up? I mean, are they moving from one crisis to the next, and they wake up in stress and struggle, or do they wake up with that peace and that knowledge that I have authority? I will use it to the best of my ability, and I will ensure that I am checking it against these standards.
Yeah.
I learned a long time ago how to test my decision making against those standards. No, I don't know the optimist.
The creed, is it good? Is it, the 5 years?
No, I actually use James test. Is it the wisdom from above?
Okay.
Am I doing it because I'm angry and frustrated and I want to get back at someone?
Oh, Jesus.
Am I doing it because I'm trying to make a quick buck and doesn't really matter where it come from? Am I doing it? You understand?
You need to write it as the TMC test. The TMC test in the morning. When you wake up in the morning and you are looking at your day, what is it that motivates you? What is it that keeps you in check? What are the boundaries indeed that you have? Will it be pleasing to God? Will it be looking out for the poor and the vulnerable? Is it about me? Am I at the center of it, or is it other people centered? Because that's what love really is about. Love is about.
All right, so Pastor is going to develop a TMC test.
A TMC test. I to check my eyes. You get up in the morning and you say, okay, all right, I have this day ahead of me. Whether you are somebody who is working on a truck, or you're a CEO, whatever you're doing, you're a teacher, you're a student, what do you look for? How do you train yourself? Because the truth is, as it says in the Romans passage, be not conformed, but be transformed by renewing of your mind. The decisions you take on a daily basis is how you take it from the spiritual into the physical in terms of the decision you make.
And even as simple a thing as the conversations you have.
Yes.
And your choice of words and what to communicate. And you check yourself. If you heard a story and you're repeating it, why am I repeating it? Am I gossiping? Am I sharing useful information? Am I seeking to encourage and uplift? Even if it's information about your own life, because sometimes when you're sharing information about your own life and you're calling it testimony, the Lord is calling it boasting.
You have to be careful.
Yeah, because you say, oh Lord, I am so blessed. And when they start to tell you all the many things that fell into their lap, while you're thinking, Lord, I've just been praying for a pair of shoes from a child. Lord, I've just been trying to pay school fee. And this lady, you giving her 2-3 cars. She can't choose which one to drive from one day to the next. And somebody else says,
in terms of shoes, how much shoes they can wear one time, Mr. Producer?
Depends on the size.
Depends on the sizes. So
all right, I told you, we agreed we were not going to the penny section. We're not getting anything useful out of there this morning. But it's just, you can apply that principle in every single thing that you do, every decision that you're about to take. You can test it to check your heart position.
True.
Why am I doing this? Even if you're choosing food, you look at it, am I choosing it based on price? Am I choosing it because I want, something that's not good for me and I can't usually eat it at home, so I'm out here.
You understand?
Yeah, you can. Yes.
Too much salt.
When you hit the street and you start to have things that you can't have at home, what am I doing? Am I honoring the temple, of
Yeah,
my body,
because
in which the Holy
for
Spirit.
some of us who are hypertensive and they cut salt out other things, them say, but a lot of the processed food is where you're getting the salt
Yeah.
from. You don't even know.
Yeah. So
You go natural.
you can test every decision you
Eat
make
from the land.
against that. But I want to ask your opinion on a thing that our Prime Minister has said, which of all the things he has said recently,
He's been saying many
this
things.
one. He said that he has passed the stage of needing to win political popularity and favor. It does not matter to me anymore. And I'm thinking to myself,
Why do you make a statement like that?
if you are put in power because the people find favor in you and think that you will do the best job, and you get to the stage in the job where you don't care what the people think, I'm just trying to understand.
His statement.
Yes, why?
To weigh in on that statement,
Why
would
you
he say
a
that?
thing like that? Now, if you're trying to say, I don't even say why you would say. Why would you say a thing like that? You don't rule by the divine right of kings.
Not anymore.
You don't rule by virtue of your military might. You rule in a democratic environment
You
because
wonder about
people
that.
chose you to be the leader. And if you at some point in the job decide that you don't care what the people think anymore,
Step away.
what did you say?
Step away.
No need to shout.
No, I said it and you said, what did I say? I'm saying you step away.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
if the person...
I don't think it was a good thing for him to say at all.
If the persons have seen you and invested, and you know what we need to do is to go back to those speeches that he has made when he became prime minister as to what he was going to do.
Or when he was courting the job. Which one? When he was candidate or after he won?
No, man. After he got the job the second time round.
Yes.
And he says, this is what I'm going to do. And everybody was saying, yes.
Do it, Prime Minister.
Yes,
do it.
we are 100%. Even if it was 21% of the whatever, 37. The truth is now, if you have shifted from what you set out in terms of what you wanted to do, then step away from it.
Yeah.
Step away because that is what everybody bought into. You know, think that's what they bought into.
And, but we choose him.
And then the other thing is why he has come under so much flack is because the things that you have said, which is a litmus test for integrity. What you said is what you do. Admit all of the things that are there. Because you must have known that you needed to clean the stables. Remember Hercules had to go in and clean the stable, and what he did. Somebody said, I'm going to drain the swamp. You know, because those are the powers. And the question is, if there's so much hanging over you, Prime Minister, in terms of what you have said and the things that you are doing, and you said, oh, but you don't care anymore.
Yeah, and I know that's not what he meant to communicate. I believe he meant to communicate that he is no longer playing to popularity politics and trying to do what looks good. He's trying to do what is right. But couldn't you just say that? Couldn't you say that my desire is to do what is right for Jamaica? The Jamaica now and the Jamaica of the future. How we long for someone who would speak in that way and seek to preserve something that is good and noble for the next generation.
Yeah, but
you could say that.
Yeah,
Instead, he says something that suggests exactly what we have believed for a long time, that he does not care what the people think or what the people need. He's doing something that he's pulling out of his own imagination. He then says something which seems to be a response to my 2.5 acres comment. He says,
the 2.5 acres
yes,
comment.
man.
You think that they're listening? He
says that the government has to be very economical with the limited land resource that is available.
So why one man get 1,400?
I said,
one man get 1,400, one man get 3,000 something to farm, and
there's much that we don't know.
Yes.
And you bring out bulldozers over 2.5 acres and talking about it as being economical with a scarce resource. The first thing is that land is not a scarce resource. Land is a finite resource.
So, yes, that's a difference.
Very big difference. and the policies that they impose on the use and development of land is entirely up to us. We can change it. And the additional thing about how they address development is that it can change.
Yeah,
you see everything that we build up here, just like how you went in with the bulldozers and tore down something, we can tear down things too.
But I think it, getting a sense from a psychological perspective, if I were to read what he's saying,
Yes.
he's been very stung like a bee sting you,
Yes.
and hurt by what has been said in regards to what has happened. And the truth is, Mr. Prime Minister, I say it, and I said it Monday in jest. I wonder, sir, if you are being set up. That is. No, but let me explain what I
You have to
mean.
remember to ignore the penny section.
No, the penny section will get a mic.
I think the penny section should get
Remember
a
set up.
mic.
Because it is. Somebody related a story to me.
Yes, he's being set up. You know why I said that? I'm agreeing with you now. Because that is how God used their own strategies to confound them.
Yeah, because that's what we said.
It's a setup.
Yeah, in terms, I remember when I read
Yeah.
from Isaiah 44 yesterday.
Yeah, it is a setup.
In terms of God uses their counsels.
Absolutely, to confound them,
yes.
create chaos and
Yeah.
confusion, and cause them to expose their true heart.
Yeah.
Because they set off on that jaunt,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're confronted by the reality of the crying women
Yeah.
and the people whose blood, sweat, and tears they have now reduced to rubble. Now he has to appear to be reasonable. And so he's saying things that are confusing even to his own team. This is him now saying that he has to be reasonable and fair, that enforcing the law is a priority. And this is even as they move to provide a formal, fair, and efficient process to give all Jamaicans the opportunity to own their own homes. Now, all the time they're distributing land, right up to today, what were they doing? It was not fair, it was not formal, it was not efficient. That's a confession right there.
It was self-interest.
Yes, and what do the people do while you are moving towards this fair and efficient process? Survive on air, cling to the ground, live on the tree. Life is happening while you are trying to create a process.
Because
and while you are creating the process, your people are taking and giving
Yes.
themselves and satisfying their bellies.
Yeah, and you see, that is an interesting and important commentary on what is happening. You are the chief of ministers. You know everything that is happening. You know who are the power brokers. You know who are the gravelicious ones. Remember that term? The two gravelicious, the craven one. And you can say no. But what is happening now, the thing of integrity, everybody have something for everybody.
Yep. So, yes, it's a setup, but it's not a setup by human hands.
A divine intervention.
Divine intervention, because by ourselves, we can't even get close to the truth.
That is why I
So-
jokingly said that them can come with the air and them butt and things.
Yes.
When God, because God sits high and low, and him look, and him is omnipotent, him omnipresent, him just a laugh.
And we have only what he gives us.
Yes.
No matter how bad we think we are.
And him just watch it
Yeah.
and I say, watch I want to do over there. So, but you see, and this is an important point that I keep telling people. The devil is not omnipotent, nor omnipresent,
omniscient.
or is none of those.
None of those.
And a lot of times, even in terms of how we speak, we ascribing to him power him not have.
Yeah.
That's some of the time somebody joking and say, they must have said, and I say, they might blow me for all of the things. They might call me name
Well,
for.
I'll take it.
What they might call me name for?
Take one for the
And
team.
them do them own thing. When I call me name for, leave me, you don't stop call up the name, no? Like in a situation and people are call up your name.
And now, here's another sleight of hand. The Prime Minister has equated what has happened to an attack on the rule of law. How does the rule of law come into play here? There are many illegal buildings all over the country, and not a soul is going to tear them down, but you're going to tear down those 10 buildings on 2.5 acres of land. All right, it's time for the break. We flew past it in our zeal. Let's take the 7 a.m. break.
A difference you can hear.
Bess FM. Keep listening.
All right, we have 2 nice pieces of tilapia. Check. 1 onion, check. Salt and black pepper, check. All right, what else can I miss? Oh yes, oh, me forget Grandma Elsie's special sauce.
Hey, something smell good in here. Hi, darling.
Hello.
Why have all this paper near the food?
Listen, I don't want you to come spoil up the energy, and show off my special recipe going to take me places,
Yeah, I like the places where I going to take you, because the recipe is going in my belly, Oh, because I could eat one of those fish with some breadfruit right now.
Come. You better leave my kitchen.
Aww.
I can't deal with you right now. Look how you make me all forget when I do man chore.
Relax, no, man. I'm going to behave myself. But you're not telling me where I do all of this for?
All right. Well, the National Fisheries Authority, them have a tilapia recipe competition. Zine? So, we decide to enter.
Well, look at you. Competition? So you think steam fish and okra going to win anything? Everybody can do that. Look here.
Well, your nose dry in my kitchen door. And for your information, I know steam fish me I cook this time. I plan to stir fry it with some vegetables, boiled breadfruit, and Grandma Elsie's special sauce, which she show me. When I done with my presentation, you see, the judges are going to call off the competition because of my recipe I beat everybody won.
Let me not tell a lie now. Since I mentioned Grandma Elsie's sauce, you must win. Because what you're doing here really smell good. Like, my nose a dance and beer things and my stomach are all the bunks. But even though all I see here is a mess, which me feel like me have to go clean up, me now go to wash my face. So it's how you go enter the competition now, my love?
Well, it's nothing complicated enough. First, you just create the recipe for a unique way to cook the tilapia. You write it down and then you take a video of the final product.
Alright, so that not sound too hard.
Not sure about you, but for me, a easy thing that. The next thing is to send the recipe to the National Fisheries Authority along with your name, your address, and a contact number.
That's all?
No, you're going to have to tell them the category that you're entering as well. Whether you're entering as a school, as a caterer, even a restaurant or a street vendor, even a hotel with a large or small, anybody can enter.
So, alright, I feel like I want to do my own recipe. What do you think? Yeah, I borrow some of your sauce. Where you put it on the back.
Oh, and all of the recipes must use tilapia. You have to incorporate Jamaican seasoning, just like Grandma Elsie's sauce.
Okay.
You have to be creative. And of course, the food have to taste good and it has to be presentable.
Yeah.
So, that's what all of this paper and the props where you see around the kitchen. You know, the thing have to look legit.
Yeah, man. So that means somebody if you call Omar if I got a shop for me come off to get started for my own recipe. Unlike some people where depend on Grandma Elsie, I make my own recipe.
I hear you.
Because I think we can share the prize. So when I beat you, don't feel no way. Don't feel no way, darling.
You got jokes. When you finish, just email it to tilapiarecipes@nfa.gov.jm or you can drop it off at the National Fisheries Authority. Them the 2C Newport East, Kingston 11. You know, Jamaica Customs Agency.
Yeah, man.
Right across the road.
Oh,
and you need to work fast because the deadline is October 19.
Don't worry about me, worry about yourself. But I like how you're helpful and so guess what's in my plate here? When you share some of that, give me I go judge it and me I go help you tell how far you reach the competition based upon the taste and the
You no plan for change your hungry belly ways.
Never that. But then again, maybe right after my taste piece of the fish.
60 years! Who are 6 decades for Willica Island independent? And we have accomplished so many things. What do you think are some of our country's greatest achievements in these last 60 years? Think about it and make we know by entering the JIS Heritage Essay Competition. If you're a primary level student aged 9 to 12, write a 500-word essay answering the question, what do you think is Jamaica's greatest achievement since independence? Great prizes to be won. Visit jis.gov.jm for more information. Competition closes October 31. The JIS Heritage Essay Competition. Enter today.
The blood bank is always in need of blood. Give generously. The blood you give today may save your life tomorrow.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
A difference you can hear.
Bess FM. Keep listening.
Warning, when there is a hurricane warning, button down, tie down, everything. Lift appliances and furniture off the ground and secure your valuable items. If you wanna port, secure it van land and turn on your yard if you a fisherman. Make sure you turn off every breaker, and before you sleep, turn off your generator. Flooding, that is a real danger. If you live a gully bank, river bank, or low line area, if you see flood waters are rising, get out, get out. Heed the warning. If your land starts slipping and sliding, get out, get out. Heed the warning. Hurricanes can happen, so be prepared.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-382-528 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Half a tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, how you do I take taxi style?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, you know, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? You waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose your problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. You hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
You big star. Yeah, man. Respect my boss.
I try and call you, cause trust me.
Waiters Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
What a relief.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-Time Taxi Service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
Call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Bess100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minett and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Bess100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back, and of course, thank you for staying with us. This is the Morning Connection, coming to you from the Ligony Club in Kingston, Jamaica. We, of course, owe a debt of gratitude to the club for allowing us to use their beautiful gardens on our free-flowing Thursday mornings. And just a reminder that the Ligony Club is your premier sporting location in Kingston. In fact, I think it is the largest single sporting facility in the English-speaking Caribbean, with 6 squash courts,
privately owned?
8.
Privately owned, or?
It is not privately owned in the sense that it's a private members club, but it's owned by a collection of persons who
1,000 people.
yes. So you can become an owner by entering into membership with the club. There are hotel rooms which are, nicely and conveniently appointed to suit the needs of a business traveler. We have a large size swimming pool that can accommodate just about swimming of any level. And we have walking trails. We're located right next to Emancipation Park, just about. So if you want a little bit more of nature, it's within the vicinity. A full service gymnasium that would be the envy of any sports club, I believe.
Okay.
Did I mention squash and tennis already?
Squash, tennis. They play
tennis,
basketball.
Swimming. Well, no, there's no basketball.
They need
court.
to put in a half court
but you
here.
Can put in, that's
so
easy.
they can bring on NBA stars. So come to Kingston and you're not out of the lure
Well, I
of
know
the
you
lights.
are working on a basketball initiative, so
yeah, man. So we get it and make some connections.
To make a proposal. And while you're here, be sure to check out JD's Urban Pub.
Yeah.
Where you get delicious local fare. And they have a lovely bar for the after-hour relaxation.
Just as we are on the sporting theme or topic, just want to mention too that beginning today, and I've seen two ladies here, and one of them is recognizable. They have come for the Americas, the IFNAF Americas qualifiers for the next Netball World Championship. I know that Jamaica is number 2 in the world in terms of netball, because we recently at the Commonwealth Games ended up being in the final against Australia. So we welcome them, and we welcome.
Who's number 1? Who are we?
I think Australia is number 1. We are number 2. New Zealand is 3, and England is 4 in terms of the world rankings. But it's the only team sport, and kudos to the women that we are ranked so highly, but yet they don't get the support like football and other team sports. I guess you think that is discrimination based on allocation of resources? As a woman, you figure that because we are so high up and highly recognized, we have never fallen below number 5 in the world in netball.
But to really test the equity of the situation, you would have to examine what do people get in return for investment in the various sports. Meaning, if you're talking about even the allocation of national funds, public funds,
through sports
development, right? Then you would look at an equitable analysis. An analysis of the equity would require you to consider how many persons are in it, how does it contribute to national well-being in an overall sense, how pervasive is it in terms of as a national sport.
Very pervasive.
The fact that is it gender specific? I don't really see men.
They have a national male netball league now in Jamaica.
Well, I suspect that if that grows and it's a mixed gender sport, it might develop a more interesting profile. And if you're talking about advertising dollars, advertisers are looking at what impact it will have on the product that they sell and so on. So I always find it an interesting exercise to look at the distribution of resources, like in sports or other, gender-based areas of endeavor.
Yes.
A lot of the things that women do don't get the level of support. Not even tennis.
I think they've reached where it's equal. It's equal now. In recent times.
It took a journey.
Yeah, it took a journey for them to get there, but now they're on equal footing.
And so you have to look at what is the path that you need to take to be in that position of equality, because it's very much tied to what do I get for my dollar when I put it over here or over there.
So that's a real question then.
That's the real question.
Not whether it's discrimination or gender thing. What is it? So
it might appear discriminatory, but it might be legitimate.
Legitimate discrimination?
Yes, there is legitimate discrimination.
Because of the spend?
There's a concept of legitimate discrimination where, and that's how subsidies arise, where you might offer a subsidy to one thing and it has the impact of discriminating against another, but the reason why you are creating the subsidy is within the parameters of a law that permits it.
Okay. All right, so that makes a whole lot of sense. It may appear discriminatory,
but when you analyze it properly, it's not inequitable.
Well, I'm glad that you have said it as a female, because a lot of the times when they go and say, look Look how netball doing so well. And the man them not even in the top 50 or 60 and them get the pie of the thing. But now there's now women's football. Oh, because Jamaica is in the second
And
World
they're
Cup
doing better than the men did,
yeah,
but not getting the same support either.
Yeah.
Are they?
No,
I don't think
that's what people are
but,
saying.
You know, in all fairness, like when you watch sports, some of the things that the women do, way less exciting, way less interesting. That's the truth of it. That's the truth of it. Women's basketball. Do you watch women's basketball?
Yeah.
Is it as exciting as
Oh
the
man,
men?
they're slamming and they're jamming and they're doing the plays behind the back and all the. Recently that was just concluded, the WNBA.
Right.
Which according to America.
Do they get the same kind of money and so on as
I don't
the
know if
men?
they get the same kind of money, but when you have the women's game, the arena is as filled as with the males.
So they're on their journey to equality.
Yeah.
Because whenever you see when it hits that meter, then it justifies itself because the money is there for it.
Seriously.
But like women's cricket, what about women's cricket?
That's
same level of support.
I'm not so sure. It's getting there because they have their own World Cup and thing, but not as the men.
So again, it's a journey. It's a journey, and you have to make that journey, and you can't be frustrated because it takes time.
You remember the famous with Billie Jean King and this gentleman, they say he would beat her, and there was
tennis,
and it's like in the 60s or early 70s, and she beat him. So that he was saying, "There's no way a woman can beat me. I will beat." And it was a big challenge.
And
Billie
then
Jean,
the debate came as to whether Billie Jean King was really a woman.
Sure, man. Billie Jean King was a woman.
Was?
Is a
Today?
woman. Billie Jean.
No, but it's much the way that persons talk about. It's much the way people talk about Semenya.
Yeah.
Because there are some powerful women that are a little bit. They are women plus.
You know about women plus. They are women.
They're women plus. They have more testosterone than the ordinary.
How did we get there anyway?
You drew me there.
No, but I like your comment. I think you've been very balanced, and you sure is a female? Or
I'm
you're
a woman plus.
You're a woman. What in regards to
one of a kind, man, woman plus. There's a headline of the JTA president. We met with her here, delightful Miss LaSonja Harrison, and she's calling for divine intervention in schools. Now, I love it how that's what she said, and that's what made the headline. But what she actually did was make a very specific proposal. She says, "I call on righteous men and women of the clergy to seek greater levels of partnership with schools in their locale to offer spiritual support as administrators and teachers do the best they can with the resources at their disposal to treat with this increasing challenge."
She was referring to the increasing violence.
She refers to what she called an evil that is taking over in schools. And yes, Percy, it is the blood violence, not just the oppositional defiance and bad behavior.
I know oppositional defiance
yeah.
disorder. It's
blood.
The blood sport. That's
blood
what.
sport in school. Yes, 2 fatal stabbing incidents recorded since the year. The
One
KT
in
young
Kingston
lady,
and one in Trelawney.
and see, as you talk about the gender issue, one is 2 young women fighting,
and then the other one was males.
Yeah.
Fighting over gathering. So when you talk about gathering, you know, say you need spiritual intervention because that is in the realm of the supernatural. Because you're saying that when you have this gathering, I am protected.
You're invincible.
Yes. And it's a major thing though, you know.
Yeah.
And if you speak about the impact with the Broadcast Commission yesterday in terms of the scamming and the scamming and the chopper and the thing, you know that how that became popular, you know, was through music, the gathering and the fact that it protects you. Because some of the guys, if you listen, if you could do
what became popular?
The gathering,
yes.
the impact of
right. Okay, the gathering became popular through the music.
Yeah, man. Man said, me have my gathering
references
to protect me, so you can't do me nothing.
There's a debate in a person that we can touch on it here, but we certainly wouldn't engage in it. Does art imitate life, or life imitate art? We know We don't even have to ask. It's not even like the chicken and the egg. We
Which
know,
come first?
yeah, we know that art imitates life.
Mhm.
Art is a commentary on life, which is one of the things that an attorney who commented on the Broadcast Commission's
Mataraya.
yes, early in the day, he was talking about shutting down the
Creative.
descriptor element in the artistic output. When it describes what is before, when it is a mirror holding up to society what exists.
So this is
Do
what
we
it is,
break the
innit?
mirror and think that by breaking the mirror we
You
have
don't break
addressed the
mirror, You have
problem?
to change it.
Okay, so you do understand what I'm saying. Guard rings were not made popular by music.
You are in the culture already.
It's in the culture.
Just that the man them and you them know about it. Cause them youth they couldn't afford to go to a Obia man. Is that what is a serious thing?
To make their contract for
No
their
man,
guard
them,
ring.
no man,
Yeah.
you couldn't.
Yeah.
If you go to a Obia man, enough money, girl.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, jeez, man.
But you get the point.
Yeah, but it's over. The point is, you remember before the highway, there's Mount Rasa, and there was a guy, and you'd pass going
Most
up, and
famous
say,
Oberman in
and you'd
Jamaica.
pass, and you see all of these Benz, and you say, I was surprised in the earlier days when you used to go Benz, I-N car. I said, these are the people who are coming here.
I thought those were his cars.
It absolutely
Received in payment for services rendered.
It could have been. We
Yeah,
make light of
but,
it, but it is.
Yeah,
it's a serious thing.
So there is that we kind of miss a beat where when we are thinking that it is the artist's work that is fueling the drive in.
They're just reflecting
they're
what
just
is in the
reflecting.
culture.
It's a mirror.
So
They're
we have
holding
to
it
go in
up.
and change the culture.
We gotta
Like,
go.
to change the
So,
culture.
for example, there is the president of the JTA saying, when you see something that is of another dimension manifesting in the behavior of your children, you gotta answer it with the right weapon, the right tool.
Yeah, because if you don't,
yeah.
otherwise you're missing the mark.
So if you can characterize it as evil, anti every godly principle,
Then you do
destined
the
towards destruction and not life,
Mhm.
then you have to answer it with the right weapon. And the right weapon is in the hands. She says it's in the hands of the clergy. There may be a debate about
who's the clergy. But
yes,
but she's made a very important
she's
point.
made an important point.
And
It's
just
like taking a knife to a gunfight.
Oh, that's what I was about to say.
Oh,
You
really?
pull it, yes.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead and
No,
say
but
it.
no, but you have said it that you're taking a knife to a gunfight when you don't. A knife will not help you. You have to go with the right tools in order to fight.
The bullet reach you before you draw your knife.
Unless you're on the thing you're sighting bullets like what you see in movies. Man, shoot that.
Right weapon. You
The
need
right
the right
weapon.
weapon, and she's calling it out. I hope that the churches or the clergy responds.
I hope so too.
I know that there is a hesitance in responding because many of us don't live the kind of life that would enable us to respond to the kind of evil that is being displayed. Because
tell
you
you.
know that you can't. Then again, you become the knife in the gunfight. The people think they call a gunman, but when you show up, you can't even.
You don't know what you're up
You don't know
against.
what you're up
Okay.
against, and you can't meet it because you are so easily discomfited by what you see and overwhelmed by what you see.
And the spiritual warfare.
Yes.
There is warfare.
There
is
is.
spiritual warfare.
Absolutely.
Let us call
There
it what
is.
it is.
Yeah, there
Because
is.
whether we like it or not, there's two realms, the physical and the spiritual realm. But even the spiritual realm, there's good and evil. So the question is, how will we fight it?
Now, I do not want us to go too far into the morning without talking about the government resisting a very reasonable and inevitable conclusion that this ban on music is about using moral structures to address crime and violence. Why do you think they would deny it? Morgan says the ban is about decency standards, but not admitting that the government is trying to use it to address crime and violence. Why would they shy away from admitting that that's what is being done? I don't. You recognize that that's what's being done. If you are trying to impose purity laws through regulation, and the thing you're targeted is
Crime
music
and violence.
that promotes or glorify crime and violence.
That glorifies wrongdoing.
Obviously, that is one of your strategies. Yeah. Why would they hide from that? I don't understand. The Broadcasting Commission is set up to do exactly that, you know.
Mm-hmm. The censor.
Maintain standards.
And there's nothing wrong with saying these are the standards.
Yes.
The standards are the standards. The question is, are we gone down so far that we think the standards are there, but they are really not there, because guess what has happened? The house bolt and gone through the gate, and people have been saying, it's like I see it and I say, if you do that, and I say to my children, because putting on my father, if you do that, having been there and done that, this is what is going to happen. Because there are some things as night, this is what is going to happen. So if you have a breakdown in terms of leadership, the political structure, and the things that they do, and they figure that it's okay for them to do it, why do they not believe that everybody is not going to follow stream? No, ask the question. If everybody know and say, okay, you are corrupt, you are most corrupt, and he says, all right, the guys who are singing these songs, they said, this is a way for make a quick money, you know. So I'm in a business, what do want to say?
They comment on it in a catchy beat.
Yes.
And it finds favor with the people who say, true, you know, true, look how them a live.
Yeah, so we want to live the same way they too. And what we have said is that, remember a politician always say, if you go away you get knife, I would say. Remember that statement? That if you do things the proper way, you get shafted. You're shafted. That's how you go?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I think it was Peter Phillips that said something about knife and shaft. That comment.
Is this something about what goes on in prison?
No, man. No. He was talking about in terms of if you do things, I'm trying to remember the exact statement.
Oh, I see what you're saying. When you do things the right way, you end up being penalized anyway.
Yeah.
So you might as well. Yeah, I was wondering what. Anyway, let me go into why I raised the point with you, just to report on it. I was watching it and I wasn't quite sure what was going down. Robert Morgan, who's the Minister of Information, with responsibility for information.
Some people have another name for you, but all right, leave it at that.
He has been quoted as saying that the government is not using the Broadcasting Commission to battle crime by censoring radio content. He's saying instead that the Act and the regulations are very clear that you cannot promote illegality or you cannot promote content that violates your license. Now, the first thing Mr. Morgan should... We are going past the hour. I think it's these new microphones that we have. Yeah, it's 7:32. All right, we'll be right back.
A difference you can hear, a difference you can feel.
Bess FM, keep listening.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minett and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Bess100 FM.
Come in, my DJ,
and give the people the information. Hear this: before a hurricane come, you have to go through a list of things where you need and things where have to fix, like your roof, your doors and your window them. Buy your nails, hooks and fasteners and fix them. Get your hammer, your pliers, your rope and your wire. Stock up with ply and a whole heap of lumber. Plastic tarpaulin and plastic bag. Kerosene stove and a coal stove. Kerosene lamp, matches and candle. Yo, trim the tree them and clean the drains. That's how you prepare before a hurricane. Be prepared. Prevention is better than cure.
Better listen to FM. A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-382-528 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
Hey everybody, Dr. Julia D. Fagan here. I just want to invite you to join me on Friend of a Wounded Heart right here on Bess FM every Saturday, 1 p.m. until 2 p.m. Guess what? I'm looking forward to coming into your homes, at your workplaces, behind prison bars, at infirmaries, wherever you are. Shalom.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl, Lady Lee, the Queen of the South, and I'm inviting you all to trailblaze with me on the best of the best radio station, the Bess100 FM, Mondays through Thursdays, 2 to 5 p.m. You can't afford to miss it on your airwaves. Yes, trailblaze with Lady Lee right here, Mondays to Thursdays, 2 to 5 p.m. on the best of the best, Bess100 FM. Mwah.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minett and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Bess100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats. Best FM.
Good morning and welcome back. To those watching us online, you will see that we are without the headphones. It's very confusing. Oh, it's only on. It's only for free flowing Thursdays. Yeah, it's very confusing. We're getting so relaxed sitting around as if Percy and I are just having breakfast. I was probing Percy's thoughts on the minister's reluctance to admit that the government is addressing issues of public morality through the imposition of regulations. It's the very thing that we call on them to do in most instances where there is an issue affecting what is happening in the public spaces under the licenses and permits that they issue. And so here is an opportune moment for him to say yes.
You recognize and we are thinking.
The Broadcasting Commission has a responsibility to guard public morality. They have a responsibility.
So we had suggested yesterday, probably like how they rate movies. You go into the movies and it says PG or R or whatever. Yeah. You so put songs in the category. Absolutely. So you better monitor, but then movies take much longer to produce, but I could go into the studio today, be inspired, and in a week I release something on the air. So the question is, in real, how do you monitor that if you're going to rate your songs? You know, that just the logistics of getting it done. But to me,
you're gonna get some gospel songs now, decrying. The same artists, are gonna do some gospel songs. Commenting on it in a way that is not promoting it, in a way that is decrying it.
Decrying it. You think that's what's going to happen?
Listen, just like how this is Love and Dear. You have artists who have that ability
Satire.
to be very satirical in their lyrical content. And that's exactly somebody's taking all those words and making a song.
I think like Prophet and Nuts and them guys.
Yes.
Who,
and when they do
and
when they do it, all they're offering is social commentary on what has happened.
And they're gonna do it, you know.
And they should
do it.
The
wise ones will do it.
They should
the
do it.
smart ones will do it in regards to it. But I think even as you talk about leadership's responsibility to promote things that reflect the body politic in terms of what is acceptable in terms of morals and things. You think leaders should do that? You think they have a responsibility
to include that in their
so in the same way that they've used the Broadcast Commission to get this done, what about corruption?
And violence against women or children.
What about those things?
Or against the elderly.
Yeah.
Or as you say, corruption in high places.
Yeah, man. And knowing about it in the contracts, why don't we do it? This is what people are saying, you know. And I think this is just my personal thing, that a rejection, what a lot of these are, they have rejected in a way the normal way of obtaining wealth, to say, but we not do it too. So we're going to find another way to do it. So nobody stop with progress. Because you have a theory, I don't know if we reach theory yet, hypothesis.
Which one?
I'm just going to state something, because a long time ago I said, do you know that once upon a time in Jamaica, everybody wanted to say, yeah man, we do it the right way. Work hard and things. But someone said, but hold on, them man they not work hard and them a reap the spoils. Talking about the plantation class. So we are going to set up with gang and we are going to do a thing and we are going to run it and we are going to bribe policemen like how them do it and do everything. So what say you? I'm just thinking about it in terms of they come up with an alternate way. All right, I obey the law. Policeman stop me. Good. But we see, and we have cases of that. Policeman stop another man and then just pay him off. So why me can't do it? So I'll get the money in order to do it. So that's why a lot of people have said.
So that's your hypothesis?
Yeah.
What's the hypothesis?
That they have come up with a way that says that we're going to run counter, we're going to take our faith into our own hand, we're going to get the money, whether it is legal or illegal, and we're going to pay our way through the system.
So that's they who? The
man from the ghetto who said, me I go run have a gang and thing and do my thing. What do you think?
I'm seeking to understand it better.
Okay. So, all right. The man who plays who plays fair always gets shafted.
Oh, that's what you were trying to remember.
Yeah, the man who plays fair always gets shafted. The man who plays by the rule doesn't get anywhere normally.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm seeking to do. So what I'm seeking to
actually,
do.
While you're reading it, Conrad gave us the correct word. If you play by the rules, you get shafted.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm playing by the rules and I get shafted. I said that man, the rules are there, but he finds a way to pay his way, uses influence and so on. But the thing, as somebody once said, money answered all things. So me I get the money, whether me get the money legally or illegally, me have my money. As long as me have my money, me can do anything, I can pay off anybody, so me good to go. What do you think?
I honestly do not believe that people make decisions quite like that. I know we do a lot of imitation, meaning, we just mimic what we see. But I really believe that a lot of circumstances move or work together to shift a person into a particular direction. I think all of us start off wanting to get things the right way, a safe way, a way that is sustainable, and the left or right turns that we make, is very much dependent on who we meet at the juncture. We meet a good person who say, I can help you and you've accomplished this, we'll go with him. We meet a different person who says, no man, make we head this way. And that's why we are always emphasizing what happens in the home, because when you come to that place of choice, how you choose is very dependent on what's been poured into you. And I think it's the same whether you come out of a wealthy community or a poor community, a good household or a bad household, or the environment in which you were nurtured. I think it's the same, because you always have the people who say, boy, I always remember my granny, I said this or that. But granny is mother to the father who is in jail or who is has turned in some corner that you could follow. But you for some reason, something positive stuck with you that influenced you when you came to the left or right. If you were to
explain the concept of the emergence of dons in our culture as a major thing.
The emergence of dons is a breakdown in the proper policing of communities.
You know, you can be a don and not kill nobody.
You don't. You're the person of influence who's you're a person of influence whose opinion matter to the people because you have made yourself reliable and trustworthy to them. Whether it's because you give them money, or you give advice, or you have a show of strength which causes them to be fearful of your reaction or treatment. Dons emerge. You know, they have a saying, I know scientists say that's nonsense, but they have a saying that nature abhors a vacuum. But there's no true vacuum.
No, that's true. So you understand.
But to the uninformed,
so the absence
nature
of
abhors
the real law and order in communities, the don emerges to run the things.
Yes.
So, but they say people, okay. So that's in communities. Do we think we have a don run in Jamaica?
Well, a community varies based on size, what you call a community.
Yes.
So there's a global community.
Yes.
There's a
like
regional
wanted
community.
To be a don and another
and
don book up another set of don.
If he's not challenged, it will emerge.
Okay.
So for me, it is something exists in counterpoint to another. When you had such a peaceful, no fuss, people are content, able to you do your little farming or you do your little commercial activity, whatever it is you're doing, but you're making ends meet, your children are taken care of, your needs are being met in a basic way, you have decent infrastructure, you can move about freely without somehow the environment in which you live is functioning and you don't have to be pulling any special levers to go about your daily activities. You don't even know if there's a dawn. But when you get to the point where September comes, you don't have enough money, there has to be a strong man somewhere that you can go to and say, can you tide me over? Can you this, whatever. A dawn can be the best shopkeeper who gave enough credit to people that they could live. And he eventually amassed so much social credit out of those arrangements that he became a person of influence. Now, if he's a good person, like how the teacher and the JP and
they used to be in the community.
Used to be the dons.
So what you're saying, as we press along with this so-called hypothesis that I have come up with, that what we have seen emerge over time is the breakdown in terms of the social structure has allowed for these people to just come to the fore and then them run in communities. And then when Mr. Omar saying now, we must flush them out. The criminals, we must flush them out.
How are you going to flush out what is essential to your life without a replacement? It's an impossibility. Those communities can no more flush them out than Homer could walk away from his political network of whatever it is he does.
So he's asking them to make a sacrifice when they are not willing to do it.
When you are not putting anything on the altar.
But that is what it is about. That is why it is hypocritical when people come out and speak a lot of times about calling people to do this. You remember a few months ago when the Prime Minister was talking about sacrifice
Well,
and
for the civil
servants and
civil
things.
servants must eat ear pie
Yes.
as a sacrifice. Really? How far you think you're gonna get on the ear pie?
When you see right in front of you all of the things that are happening, some people say it's not true, no go so. But I am saying when you listen to some of the stories, when you hear the land grab that is happening, you see all of these things, and you're saying to yourself, really? It's common sense, you know. You say to yourself, this don't make no sense to me. For whatever you are speaking or doing, show me your action then. And I think this is the point where most Jamaicans have reached. Stop the talking now. Let me see the real action. As somebody would say, bring forth the fruit that line up with true repentance. You said that I have totally rejected this way of being and doing, and I'm going to walk right according to what the righteousness of God and the justice of God is about. Because it's not two separate things, you know.
One.
It's one
It has
thing.
integrity.
Yeah, the whole concept of integrity. And a lot of people are saying, oh, we hear you, Mr. Prime Minister, but really, Mr. Prime Minister? Really, Mr. Prime Minister? And we hear a lot of people speaking, and I'm saying, remember, there is my friend of many, many years. One time him say, you see, some of these people are writing or commenting on somebody writing in the paper. I'm saying, can't say nothing to me. Because we know otherwise. So that is where we are at. And then somebody yesterday, as we move, said, what happened to that made a drug bus? That was the front line.
Yeah.
What happened to it? Nobody no get charged? Nobody no get...
No word.
No word. It was made... How much it was? 25 million US dollar worth.
$3
billion
Jamaican
dollars worth, I think. All for one.
Yep.
Where it was going?
Arriving at a private airport, well,
not private,
on a private plane,
yeah.
at an international airport, you would think that it would be the easiest of things to get to a small list of persons.
It can't enter Jamaican airspace without
declaring
something and registering.
While there is in the news today a report that a St. Ann farmer, Alan Reed, reportedly held with $420,000 worth of cocaine in his luggage at the airport in Montego Bay, has been offered bail in the sum of $2 million. So you see they're making progress. Let me see what date this was and see if we can estimate a timeline. When did this happen? October 1. October 1. Just the other day, by standards. So let me tell you, it is kind of the way the Prime Minister made the statement that his move against the people in Clifton was to quell an assault on the supremacy of law, because laws must be upheld. And as he is...
What happened to Noel Reid? What happened to Royal Reid?
As he is seeking to portray it, he was preserving the rule of law by tearing down these people's homes. And then it leaves you to ask questions like, okay, so is that the most egregious threat to the rule of law in this country?
Yes, it is.
How do we respond to the other threats that are even more devastating in terms of impact and value and so on?
And social and the repercussions the message that I was saying, what is the message?
Yeah.
That is how people have responded. We've seen that and we say, oh, we have to do or make our own way with all of what is happening.
Yeah. So you have, I guess the threats vary. Those people on 2.5 acres of land in a little part of St. Catherine that I don't know what impact you would say that would have on the whole nation. That infraction required bringing out the big guns to protect the supremacy of law. But when you find $25 million worth of cocaine at an international airport,
in transit,
that don't require bringing out the big guns. And all of the other things that have happened, the many cases of corruption that get to the level where they should be prosecuted or we should have taken. And we're not saying that he should go in and interfere with how the courts are proceeding. But at the point when it was discovered, you remember it took a long while before the government itself conceded that this required them to take the man out of service, all the different things. They started up with a presumption of innocence argument that suggested you can't touch him until he's indicted and convicted. If it's left to the Prime Minister, he would still be doing his work, because until you are convicted of a crime, you should be given the protection of the state. Yeah. That's how it appeared in the early days. And we've seen that kind of response many times to various things.
I mean, that's a serious thing, sister. Serious.
That's why I called it a sleight of hand. Anyway.
A sleight of hand?
That's what I call it.
Yeah.
I was calling it that.
A sleight of mouth.
Yeah, because, you bring out your guns and then you want people to believe that you're doing it to protect against a greater threat.
But you did, when the Prime Minister did stand up in our Parliament last week and say, yes! You remember when he the statement? And then they said, hold on. You have to be back what? You have to backtrack. Backpedaling?
Yes. All right, let's stop talking about the Prime Minister. Why do we always come back to him? Chief Servant.
Chief Servant.
The Chief Servant.
Whether we like it or
The
not.
Chief Servant.
Sets the tone.
Yes.
Sets the trend. Whether we like it or not. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown.
Earl Brown is asking what happened to the two men who were knocking off that lock.
Arrested.
Yeah, they were arrested and charged, Earl. We wait to see if the judge is going to say, why are these men here? Malicious destruction of property.
Yes.
I don't really. I would never condone misbehavior, but I think we need to spend resources prosecuting the things that are of greater significance. A man who says I was under pressure because my sick child and I was trying to get home and I was trying to get through this place, and I apologize. I went too far. What would you do with him in the petty sessions court? Because given the cost of the lock, I don't think it's gonna rise above the petty sessions court. What would you do with him in the petty sessions court?
I don't know. It's a petty session thing. That's what it is.
I would imagine so.
It's larceny, breaking and entering. What is it?
No, well, it's what was he was trying to get through. I've never seen that gate closed. The barrier that by
no, man, it's been closed,
the
man.
gorge.
Yeah, man. I've driven when the water comes up.
Right, I've never gone there
and seen
when
it closed.
When it's closed.
I've seen
so
it
it's
closed.
As a safety measure.
Right.
Right. So it would be malicious destruction of property.
Okay.
Or he's not breaking and entering because he's just trying to get past the gate.
Breaking to enter to go to
pass through. It was because it's a public road.
No,
so I'm gonna assume it would be a malicious destruction of property.
Of public property.
Right.
So
it would be dependent on the value of the property. And he didn't actually break it. It really I don't think he broke it. He didn't get through, from what I recall. So the value of it would determine where it goes.
Okay. Well,
so I'm assuming it would be a petty sessions offense. So I'm saying you now as a...
It's more the optics than anything.
You as a JP, if that came to you, what would your thoughts be on it? When the man explained himself. Yeah, assign him to some community service. Yeah, because he must keep a sober mind and know how to handle stress.
In every situation, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So...
It's interesting though.
It's a small issue that you could address easily and maybe even through it create a good link with the community.
But some people are contending as the small things that lead to the bigger things.
But it's how you respond to them is what will prevent it from leading to the bigger things. Because let's say now you put him in jail
Lord
and
have
he get
mercy.
bitter.
I think so.
And get-
Jeez.
you understand what I'm saying? When he comes out, what will he do?
All right. So today is Thursday. On Tuesday night, I was going home, and I stopped and I saw this taxi park. There wasn't a red plate, but you could see it was a taxi man late night, trying to get people home. Because after a certain time in that area, you can't really get anything. It's a man who run the robot and thing. Anyway, so he's parked on the right-hand side of the road. Should have been on the left. And then I see a police vehicle come up. So the police vehicle comes up to him. He's blowing. I don't know if the gentleman was concerned or something, I never see. But anyway, policeman then puts the car in front of him. He was on the wrong side of the road, so he shouldn't have been there. Car come out, two of them, and they're sitting in my vehicle watching everything, and I'm saying, okay. It's two ways you can deal with it, you know. You can see the gentleman and say, you know, sir, you're on the wrong side of the road. You're not supposed to. Can you just move your vehicle? No, he parks the police vehicle, blocks it. So there's no way the man can get away, and then he tickets him. And I'm saying to myself, if I was that policeman, I don't know if the gentleman was a habitual offender. Or it was just a late night he was trying to do. Just say to you, sir, you know you're not supposed to depart there. Can you just move your vehicle, please, sir? You're on the wrong side of the road and you're obstructing it.
So
the man end up and get a ticket. The man I explained, yeah. And I thought about it and I saying, you know.
All right, we get it. And please, when we come back, you'll have to tell me, what does it mean, World Chicken Day? Today is World Chicken Day.
It's World Percy Day.
Percy the chick?
Yeah.
All right, I go with that.
A difference you can hear, a difference you can feel.
Bess FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
BBC News. Hello, this is Jerry Smith. An international study says human activity is devastating wildlife across the globe, with wild animal populations diving 70% since 1970. The Living Planet Index, produced by the Worldwide Fund for Nature, says Latin America and the Caribbean, some of the world's most biodiverse regions, have seen the worst losses of nearly 95%. The head of WWF UK, Tanya Steele, says the scale of loss cannot be underestimated.
It is a stark warning for us. If wildlife and its habitats don't survive, then neither will we. And if we were to treat the human population as one species that we were monitoring, it would be the equivalent of wiping out the entire populations of China, Europe, Oceania, the Americas combined. This is a devastating set of impacts for our natural world, and we have seen very little action from world leaders.
The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said his country only has about 10% of what it needs in terms of air defence to protect it from Russian attacks. He told an audience of European parliamentarians that he expected further support, including steps from France and Italy. Rescuers in the city of Mykolaiv in southern Ukraine have pulled out a boy who was trapped for 6 hours under the rubble of a residential building that was hit by a Russian missile. The boy is receiving medical treatment. Elsewhere, Ukrainian officials say critical infrastructure near the capital Kyiv was attacked by explosive drones. Eugene is a Ukrainian soldier. He said Russia was trying to force Ukraine into submission, but it wouldn't work.
The damage is really random. They're trying to scare us, but they don't realize that they're actually making us more angry. If it comes to that, Ukraine is ready to fight this war for a very, very long time. We're not going to back up. We're not going to give up our territories for a phantom peace with this rogue state of Russia.
South Korea's Human Rights Commission has called on the government to build more mental health facilities, noting the current centres can care for just 2% of ill people. Here's Celia Hatton.
A recent report from researchers at Harvard University noted serious mental health challenges in South Korea, with 95% of adults reporting feeling stress. South Korea also has the highest suicide rates among wealthy countries. On Thursday, the government's human rights watchdog said more mental health treatment centers are desperately needed, adding that the facilities that do exist are understaffed, with family members filling the gaps in care. The current centers serve just over 7,000 people, while more than 300,000 people need immediate help.
News from the BBC. Chinese internet censors have been deleting images and mentions of a rare street protest that took place in Beijing on Thursday, when a banner was unfurled from a bridge above a major road denouncing the Chinese leader Xi Jinping and his policies. The terms warrior and courageous person are apparently being blocked from internet searches inside China. At least 2 students have been killed during clashes with the security forces in Ethiopia. The trouble began when thousands of high school students walked out of their final year exams in protest against moves by the authorities to curb what they say is rampant cheating. A Polish man suspected of involvement in the murder of a prominent Dutch journalist has been extradited to the Netherlands. He's the 6th person to be detained in connection with the killing of Peter de Vries, a high-profile crime reporter shot dead after appearing on a television chat show last year. Here's Anna Holligan.
The 30-year-old Polish national who was living in Rotterdam at the time of the attack has been charged with complicity in murder with terrorist intent. The killing of the investigative journalist Peter R. de Vries shook Dutch society and raised questions about the authorities' ability to deal with an increasingly influential criminal underworld. 3 other suspected co-perpetrators are due to appear for a procedural hearing today. The alleged gunman and driver of the getaway car are both already on trial.
Anna Holligan reporting. The football used by the late Argentine player Diego Maradona to score what's become known as the notorious Hand of God goal in the 1986 World Cup is being put up for auction next month in Britain. The Tunisian referee who oversaw the match said the time was right to share the ball with the rest of the world. BBC.
A difference you can hear.
Bess FM, keep listening.
Warning, warning, when there is a hurricane warning. Button down, tie down, everything. Lift appliances and furniture off the ground and secure your valuable items. If you wanna port, secure it on land and turn on your yard if you a fisherman. Make sure you turn off every breaker, and before you sleep, turn off your generator. Flooding, that is a real danger. If you live a gully bank, river bank, or low line area, if you see flood waters are rising, get out, get out. Heed the warning. If your land starts slipping and sliding, get out, get out. Heed the warning. Hurricanes can happen, so be prepared.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-382-528 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
Believe me, it's so easy.
Vejan Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vejan Printers, your best choice in printing.
half a tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, how we do I take taxi star?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and me check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
You big star. Yeah, man. Respect my boss.
I try and call you, cause trust me.
Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
What a relief.
Bess100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minett and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Bess100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
You'll have to explain that. Welcome back to the Morning Connection. I tell you, Thursdays, I just hope that our listeners are in a very tolerant and forgiving mode when they see Percy and me just get lazy on Thursday.
I don't get lazy. I'm working.
It feels lazy to me. We just kind of go very mellow. Percival say I'm not a good, what you said, I'm not a good influence.
Some of the times you're not a good influence.
Some of the times, you gotta explain that. No, am I not a good influence some of the time?
I can't tell the listeners what you were encouraging me to do.
I said a little music and dancing. What did I say? Singing and dancing?
Singing and dancing. I don't know, so me can't sing already, so influencing me not to do good things, my wife would say to me all the times. You know that if you could sing, God didn't give you that. But I'm going to learn to sing. You can learn to sing.
Of course you can. All right. Early in the week, Percy, you knew that...
A good thing, Sam is not a dog.
Who is on the front page of who is this person, do you think?
I don't know.
Wrong question I'm asking you. All right. So, you know that earlier in the week, I was sharing on false prophets.
Yes.
And I promised then that we would take a walk through pandemic years and just consider the prophets of that season and the impact they had on the world. Of course, everybody know that the chief prophet would have been Mr. Fauci, Dr. Fauci.
No. Was no,
and
Fauci started recanted some of his things that he said, even as he's retiring in this end of this year. You know that, right?
I did not know. Prophets retire.
Well, he's retired.
Decommissioned.
Become decommissioned because based on what they say is happening in the midterms, which is in November, about 10, 20 days away, it looks like it's going to be a red map.
So one of the reasons I raised it is because we're always looking at the world through the lens of how we become confused or how illusions are created that misdirect us, and we get pulled from purpose, and we get pulled into situations that harm us rather than bring us abundance and joy. And Earl said we must make a joyful noise unto the Lord. I was trying, Earl, but he fought me off. meaning Percival fought me off, not the Lord.
Well, bless the name of Jesus.
So I just felt that there's a need for us to develop an understanding of who we listen to, where we take our cues for making our plans, and always be mindful that there are two roads set before us. You can choose life, or you can choose disobedience and destruction. With life comes obedience to some fundamental principles that emanate from the throne of God. Make no mistake about it, that's where they come from. There's only one source of life. That's all?
Yeah.
Anything else
is a
counter. Right. So there just to have a good foundation in understanding how to interpret what's going on in your environment and use it to make decisions that are good for you. So it became necessary to understand that the sources of our information have to be queued up against the source of life.
True.
All right. And so I just said, let's look back at what we've just gone through and see who was right and who was wrong. Because
who was right and who was wrong?
Who was wrong? Because the prophets, for Jeremiah the prophet, do you remember Hananiah? Hananiah was a prophet in the temple. He and Jeremiah were working in the same time period.
And you remember what happened? When Hananiah was saying and Jeremiah saying, yeah, you're going.
So let's lay the foundation of it.
That was so funny.
Because in that discourse between the prophet Hananiah and the prophet Jeremiah, Jeremiah set a standard. He said, the prophet who is proven to be right.
He's a real prophet.
Is the real prophet. So you don't have to guess, who's right or wrong. The proof of the pudding is indeed in the eating.
Whenever we're going to get pudding this morning to eat with our breakfast. That nice pudding last week.
You're taking free-flowing Thursday.
That's some nice bread pudding last week with the breakfast.
Percy's abusing free-flowing Thursday. Making a point of order. I can't say a word pudding and you got off. It was delicious pudding. Yeah. So that's a good plug for JD's Urban Pub. Yes. It was a delicious bread pudding. And so you're hoping for pudding.
Yes.
You'll get the proof of it in the eating. So you have these two prophets called to serve in the same time. So they're both men of God.
True.
Working
very
with the priests. So. Yeah. The kingdom of Judah is under condemnation after years of rebellion, and war is threatened. So just like how right now Russia and Ukraine are doing their thing, and the G7 is meeting, and
saying that watch it because they are prepared for nuclear war.
And Neville said World War III is here, and many pronouncements are being made. Some are saying peace, some are saying disaster, whatever the thing might be. Some are saying it's because of this, some saying it's because of that, and you now have to take some decisions concerning your own well-being. Where do I keep my money? Do I convert from gold to
some people advertising
to food? What do I do?
Oh boy.
So you have two prophets now who are speaking on it. Prophet number one says, this is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel says. I will break the yoke of the king of Babylon. Within 2 years, I will bring back to this place all the articles of the Lord's house that Nebuchadnezzar had taken to Babylon. Jeremiah is saying a different thing. Jeremiah is saying, that's not what I'm hearing.
That's not the true source.
That's not what God is saying. God is saying that the rest of the articles that are here are going to follow. And more people are going to go into captivity. It's going to get worse. Now, if you can see yourself as a member of the population, a member of the public, you're wanting to hear that things will get better at home. You're wanting to hear that there will be a resistance and it will be successful, and God of Israel, who has taken you through many battles in the past, is going to come through for you. That is what would give you comfort. You don't want to hear that you must submit yourself and go into exile. But the prophet Jeremiah was saying, it is not going to be resolved as quickly as this man is saying. Instead, more of you will go. And he had some the Lord had even given him a letter to send to the people there and say, when you go there, this is how you should behave. Jeremiah said a very interesting thing to Hananiah, and I'm saying it to the people of Jamaica now.
I broke it. It was very dramatic, you know.
He says, the prophet who prophesies peace will be recognized as the one sent by the Lord only if his prediction comes true. So that's the measurement. When someone makes a prediction, it is only measured against its reality. Did it come true? So we're now testing. We've gone through 2 years of COVID, and there were some things.
Remember all of the things that they told us would happen?
Oh, yes, man. But as they were forcing the vaccine
on people and said that it is, and even now, boy, I tell you, know, it's so unfortunate. It is so, not even unfortunate, it's so wicked. And people are reflecting and saying, boy, these people are the agenda and them force people with a narrative of it. This is going to, everybody got dead off.
Yes, and if you don't do this.
And look what has happened now, that some countries like Canada recently removed all things from thing. And some countries, Denmark became wise, because I related 2 weeks ago that Denmark said nobody under 60 must get this vaccine. They must say, you must get it, and people are still pushing it, you know. People in some still pushing the people must get vaccine and get booster with all of the evidence that has continued to emerge that said something is not so right with what is happening. And them say, this could not happen. But one of the things that emerged, and I was just peeping over at your thing, the futurologists who have predicted a lot of stuff. Some of the things they have spoken are happening. But I am not surprised.
Yes.
Because if you go into the book of
those
Revelation,
are not real predictions.
Those are not
just
real,
repeating what has already been said. Yeah.
Because when we couldn't imagine it, that there would come a time that you can't buy or sell or do anything without getting this mark. And we know in the realm of it has started to happen. It started to happen in a lot of places. You go to Sweden and you just scan the thing and them have all the information and you have to carry no card. So I said, yeah. So people, please listen. But you know, even as they have said all of these things in terms of their prophetic role, John was in the spirit. And John saw a lot of these things happening. Some that were fulfilled then, but he was speaking about the future, and he was coming out of whose presence? He was carried in the spirit, into the realm of the presence of God, and God said, look, right, these things.
We know during the time of the pandemic, we, under inspiration, were saying, don't say conspiracy and fear what the others are fearing. Look to safeguarding your immune health.
True.
Look to the security of your food supply.
Yes.
Coming down the pike, I didn't know about war in Ukraine when we were saying these things about food security, but we did see that coming down the pike will be some greater years of hardship that is going to require you as a country to be more dependent on the resources within your borders, and the health and well-being of your people must be a priority. I remember even going to the World Bank report on the wealth of nations and saying even the people of the world are concluding that your greatest strength and resource is your people, and social investments must be the order of the day in this season. Invest in your people, give them good infrastructure, give them good education, make sure they are healthy, ensure their food supply is not compromised, and watch your country grow. Out of it too came my own revelation that there is great wealth in the culture of the people that needs to be understood, preserved, maintained, exploited for their growth and prosperity. So I know that in the same way that the people are the greatest resource, the cultural expressions of the people will be the source of wealth and inspiration.
I guess it goes without saying. Culture.
So
people are.
I'm just putting it there in a context of guiding us in appreciating the voice that is coming from the heart of God, what it is saying people need to be mindful of, and how we need to guide ourselves in this season. Whether you are hearing predictions of war or predictions of peace, it will only be proven in the reality that ensues.
True.
Whichever one comes through is what God has ordained.
Ultimately,
yeah.
all of what has been said.
Between Hananiah and
Jeremiah.
Hananiah was very vicious towards Jeremiah, broke the yoke that God had told Jeremiah to place around his neck to symbolize the coming captivity. The man actually assaulted Jeremiah, broke it off. Jeremiah
so the Lord broke the yoke.
And then the Lord gave him a word and said, go back to your enemy, Hananiah, because now he's enemy, and tell him that the wooden yoke that you broke, I will place a yoke of iron around your neck. Why am I saying this? It is because there are many persons in our modern day society who are being hostile in imposing their will on the Jamaican people in order to manipulate and control. And the same violence with which you impose your will, you will be subjected to that treatment when it is time for you to be held to account. And the day of accounting comes for every one of us. The day of judgment comes for every decision that you make. You know that I used to think judgment is at the end of a run. There is a judgment on every decision that you make.
You never know that.
You feel I'm emphasizing it. I'm not saying that I was one of those.
No, but it's true. Yeah. Some people say
every decision that you make,
it is judged.
It is judged. You receive a
judge
judgment
whether it's
on
right
it.
or wrong,
yes.
And then you see the consequences.
You live with the consequence of it. So as we are going through using our power arbitrarily or oppressively, just know that you are held to account for it. So between those two, within 7 months of Hananiah's breaking of the yoke, he was dead.
He was dead?
Yes, the Lord took him. He died in the 7th month of the same year.
And then as he had spoken that was Jeremiah 28. And God was saying to them, all right, this is what's going to happen after 70 years, remember that? And then, and we often quote Jeremiah 29 verse 11, but that was the context to, that was the background.
Right there, it wasn't 7 months after he made it. So in the 5th month of the year, Hananiah and Jeremiah squared off with their competing prophecies. That's in month 5. Let's say that's May. In the 7th month of that same year, so 2 months later.
Man, dead.
2 months later, Hananiah the prophet died.
Wow.
Because he rejected the true word of God spoken by someone who had actually been given a word from the Lord. He used his imagination and his desire to tell the people what they want to hear. And he gave a pronouncement. Just like when, people come and tell us that, you need to do this and do that because so and so. They are moving to an agenda. None of them consulted to see whether or not what they're saying is in keeping with the will of God.
You keep talking about the remnant.
Yeah.
And it just reminds us of the remnant is the people who know their God.
And remain strong.
And will do great things on his behalf. So just live in that reality in terms of your situation every day. It's kind of rough and tough, but you continue to live and be what God has called you to be in the time.
Let me repeat what was said to Hananiah. The prophet Jeremiah said to Hananiah the prophet, "The Lord has not sent you, yet you have persuaded this nation to trust in lies. Therefore, this is what the Lord says, I am about to remove you from the face of the earth. This very year you are going to die because you have preached rebellion against the Lord." In the 7th month, that's 2 months later, of that same year, Hananiah the prophet died. Now, this notion of preaching rebellion against the Lord, it is placing on us a responsibility to discern what the will of God is. When you're in a time of punishment, you must take a punishment. It's the same reason why when we pronounce a sentence of imprisonment on a man, we don't expect him to rile up and move against it. We expect him to go into prison and serve his time.
Okay.
So when you know that the consequence of this behavior is X, and X reach you,
you know, sir, because of what you do.
You know it's because of what you did. You must move now into repentance, not rebellion.
And you know you have the option always to choose the other way. Choose he did
always,
say who you'll serve.
Always.
And you come back to...
Always. So you see, like, even look at it now from, you're now in prison because the consequence of your wrongdoing is a term of imprisonment. When you're there and you have the opportunity to be rehabilitated.
Be rehabilitated.
Or you want to join some gang in the corner that is trying to mastermind things from behind prison walls.
Aye.
And do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you're speaking to some real issues.
Yes, in literal ways. And if you are the keeper of the prison, you want to have the men in there serving time and you keep oppressing them, or are you going to open up opportunities for them to be reformed and to come back into the society as fruitful citizens? These are the real modern day narration of how
nice
these...
Yeah, no, me say knocking at some real doors, raising some other issues that are important, which goes back to where I started in terms of being accountable for your action. When you get up in the day, what it is that you are doing, how do you see the day, how do you see yourself, what it is that God has said. He's put it so simple: righteousness, justice. Are my actions right? Am I acting in a fair and a just way? Am I a merciful person? Am I following back up the truth?
Yes.
So it keeps checking us.
So every which way you look at it. I get concerned that even when we talk about accountability, we are not translating it into real terms that our leaders can understand. This is what we mean and expect. Time for the 8:30 break. When we return, we're going to have our first guest of the morning. So we will shift gears and begin to look at how a prince, a giant in this nation, is seeking to be accountable to the customers whom they serve. Our guest will be Winsome McCallum, Director of Communications for JPS, and she's already on site, so we're looking forward to speaking with her when we return from this break.
A difference you can hear, a difference you can feel.
Bess FM, keep listening.
Come in, my DJ,
and give the people the information. Hear this: before a hurricane come, you have to go through a list of things where you need and things where you have to fix, like your roof, your doors and your window them. Buy your nails, hooks and fasteners and fix them. Get your hammer, your pliers, your rope and your wire. Stock up with ply and a whole heap of lumber. Plastic tarpaulin and plastic bag. Kerosene stove and a coal stove. Kerosene lamp, matches and candle. Yo, trim the tree them and clean the drains. That's how you prepare before a hurricane. So be prepared. Prevention is better than cure. Better listen to FM.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
Believe me, it's so easy.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
Believe me, it's so easy.
tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, how you do I take taxi star?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? You waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. You hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
You big star. Yeah, man. Respect my boss.
I try and call you, cause trust me.
Winters Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
What a relief.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
Bess100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minett and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Bess100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back.
Well, in the break, the ladies were exchanging wonderful stories.
All right. Welcome. We are so pleased to have Winston. Did I call you Winston? I have to think about that, because we're prophetic at this table.
No.
Mr. Palmer, I will not allow you to get away with that.
Which is what?
McCallum?
No, I'm sorry. I said Callum.
No.
All right, it's free flowing Thursday. Winston, please forgive us. We've been
so
anybody
if your
would
name
think
was to change to McCallum, you'd have a problem. Become
No, it's
Mrs.
not going to
McCallum.
change to McCallum.
Okay, specifically if you were
to change, it's something a little bit more dramatic, but not McCallum.
I hear you.
Specifically a Winston McCallum, because I was saying Winston, you said McCallum, so we have introduced a whole new person.
A new gentleman in our life.
We have introduced a whole new individual into Winston's affairs. Welcome. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
We were describing you, I don't know if you were overhearing, we were describing your company as one of the princes, a giant in this land, whose partnership with the people is essential to a successful foray into the future. And we were not overselling it, because energy is at the heart of everything that will move this country forward. And I think Jamaicans beginning to see JPS not as a predator, but as a partner is an important paradigm shift impact that we've got to make.
Has to be a part.
So welcome, and thank you for being a part of what we're trying to accomplish in just shifting the imagination of people in new direction. How was your break?
Oh, it was good. It was good. I was refreshed and
she's looking it. She's looking high energy compared to me and Percy. Percy, wake up.
I told him the secret already and I was
Coffee.
take him down.
Blue Mountain. And we're at the place for it. It's not too hard. But you don't drink coffee. Percy need tea.
None of the above.
Not tea either. What you need? Is it? Can we say it on air without the broadcasting corporate? Sending out a new directive.
Oh Lord have mercy. No, myself and coffee doesn't work actually. When I was on campus and people were studying and they'll drink the coffee, man. When I drank the coffee, I went to sleep. Yesterday I go through the night. I was falling asleep, so I know it never worked for me. I don't know.
Yeah, that is a Palmer gene, because the same thing happened to me.
Yes.
Coffee overstimulated me to the point of shutting me down. It's like I would just feel like buzzy and then down. And then I
I never had coffee on campus. I didn't. Well, I only started drinking coffee recently in the last few years because I grew up in an environment where coffee was not allowed. It's a stimulant,
right?
So it wasn't allowed in my home, and I didn't.
So you broke out after all this time
in my environment. Now I find that I need
it's a
stimulant.
Yeah. Apparently it works. I mean, we're not going to confess the things that were used on campus to keep all of us alert and focused. Because some of the things we're not going to confess. No, later in life, when I heard people talk about the things they did, I'm like, whoa, I didn't even know those things were happening.
Yeah.
You were the good one.
But what happens on campus stays on campus.
Stays on campus. Campus is the new Vegas. So you missed storm riding through Ian.
Oh yes, I mean the thing is I'm away, but because I know how my company is impacted when there's a hurricane, I had to tune in.
You're still on duty.
I couldn't ignore it. Thankfully, we did not get the hurricane directly, so we just had some out of bands and we had some outages, but my company, the people who work with JPS, they turn up in a crisis, like seriously turn up. So,
need for that. Built for hard times.
Yeah.
Some might say. So are we fully recovered?
Came out and really.
Are we fully recovered? Would you say?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. We have.
Okay.
We have.
So it's business as normal now.
So we're back to business, and one of the things that we're focusing on now. Last week, Friday, as you know, was National Tree Planting Day. And we focus on tree planting because of our commitment to sustainability, and we talk about sustainable energy, but we also talk about taking care of the environment. And at JPS, we take safety and the environment very seriously. It's actually baked into our safety creed because we say no schedule is so important, no service so urgent, no emergency so great that we cannot take the time to work safely and take care of the environment. And that's our safety creed. So in the past few years, we've been doing a lot more than just working safely. We've been doing more to ensure that the environment is actually integrated in our planning and also in our corporate outreach. So last week was very pivotal for us in terms of our community engagement and school engagement.
So what was the focus of your activities?
The JPS Foundation was very, very busy. We worked with about 10 schools right across the island and plant trees. You know that the government had a commitment that was made in 2019 to plant 3 million trees.
So you're a part of that?
Absolutely. And we're doing it in a number of ways. We're working with the schools. The foundation has energy clubs in several high schools. So we're working with those schools. No, not
high schools.
Right. With the energy clubs are more for CSEC and
the older students.
Because what we do is support the curriculum for the exams.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll tell you about the energy clubs in a little bit, but last week we went into primary schools also and high schools, and we gave them farming tools, equipment to help with taking care, maintaining and planting trees. And we also, I think we planted in total last Friday alone 150 trees.
Oh, that's
right.
Yeah, so you've taken a rise.
It's a small step
towards
but
the 3 million.
Last year we planted 100, so it's a step up.
Incremental, incremental
we're doing
growth.
More to really push this a little further. The forestry department, I don't know if you're aware, they have a tree planting competition in schools right across the island.
I did not know that.
Yes,
I know they're
and
usually.
It was launched last month, and it goes to next March, and it really is to get the students involved in contributing to this 3 million target.
3 million. So are they planting? They put the seedlings in for replanting somewhere else later, or you are planting where you live?
No. You can choose where you plant. You plant in parks. You plant at school. You plant at home. But the forestry department provides the seedlings and guidance on how and where to plant.
Okay,
So
because we don't want random trees.
Absolutely. And some
growing under your lines, your power lines.
Some well, I want to talk about that too. But interestingly, there's some locations that the forestry department would not approve for
planting trees. Yeah.
And some of them, are basic, very obvious reasons where animals come in and eat them, and they're the path where people will trample on them. So they give guidance to the students.
Because I imagine they're guarding against soil erosion in vulnerable places as well, which is where you need the root systems.
Absolutely. And it's an important way of teaching children about sustainability and how they can contribute to it.
Beautiful.
So the JPS Foundation is on board as a sponsor of the National Tree Planting Competition. And what we're doing, we're focusing, our primary focus of the foundation is really high schools. So we're giving the first prize for the high school that plants the most trees, and that's a first prize of $300,000 to this school. We're also giving a cash prize to the high school student who plants the most outstanding student, and the most outstanding teacher. And the foundation is also giving the awards for the most innovative schools. And the competition, that's the people who find the most creative ways of maximizing. Yes, I mean, you'd be surprised at how creative these young people can be. So the competition is open to schools right across the island in the basic, primary, high school, and tertiary levels. So the different categories, they can go on the forestry department's website and apply. And look forward to getting those attractive prizes.
Yes, I suspect like schools in the rural areas that have plenty trees already.
Well,
are they fully engaged?
They are. We're working with Anata Bay, Green Pond Primary, Fernport, which is in St. Anna, Carver, Merlin Otte High, Manning School. So these are all out of.
You don't see Montmorey Primary School there?
Not just yet.
I shall make sure they're on it.
So
that's my primary school.
We are working with directly. We went into these schools last Friday and have continued to work with them, providing the equipment and tools. Right.
Oh.
So that JPS was, as we head towards Christmas, is becoming Santa Claus.
Well, I wouldn't quite say Santa Claus, but remember, we've always partnered with our stakeholders, regardless of whether they are consumers who we're converting to become customers, whether they are already customers, or whether they're the leaders of the future, which the children are. But you raised a point earlier, Minett, about how to plant trees safely, and I want to just remind persons that we're using this opportunity as a sponsor of the National Tree Planting Competition to remind persons of how to plant trees safely. Now, first and foremost, power outages are very often caused by trees coming in contact with the lines. So while we want you to plant 3 million trees, and the country already is, I think, maybe at the halfway mark, we're getting to that target. But while we go out and plant trees, make sure we plant trees that will not go into the power lines. That's very important.
Very, very important. So you don't want to be enabling people to have to go cut down the same trees where you go plant.
or
Precisely.
4 years from now, we have a rash of problems.
Yeah, we don't want that. So plant the trees away from power lines. What do we mean? Trees like apple trees and so on, plant them between 10 and 20 feet away from the power lines. We don't want children climbing these trees and getting electrocuted.
Yes.
We don't want the people who are working in the trimming the trees to get shocked or electrocuted. One of the things that we also ask, if you have to plant trees near the power lines, make sure that they're low-growing shrubs, not the big trees. So, right, you notice along some roadways, you see people planting, doing the beautification projects
with ficus,
and you have the trees.
So many ficus trees,
right, and then you have palms also, which grow up into the power lines. We don't want that. There are other plants that you can actually plant to make your beautification very effective without them going into the power line. So please consider that.
There's a question from two persons have questions for you, Miss Winsome. The first one, Patrick Howell says, good morning to Winsome. Please ask her about the restoration of the JPS Energy Clubs in schools. It was a great program, and I was the coordinator at Merle Grove High School.
Oh, yes. And Merle Grove was one of the outstanding energy clubs.
He's listening to you.
So, yes. Hi, Patrick. So we are, come January, we will see an active program to reactivate the
energy clubs.
Yeah. What was the aim of these energy clubs? Just
we still
education?
Have some,
education.
We still have some energy clubs that are operating, but we've had some staff attrition, and so right. So we're increasing the staff in the JPS Foundation so that we can work more closely with the schools to ensure that they benefit, that they don't just have a sign that says energy club.
And no energy,
is what happens.
And no energy behind it.
And no energy behind it. So that's something that we're working on. And I'm going to say to Merle Grove, listen out, because next month, come November, you're going to be hearing and seeing something from the JPS Foundation that will help you to reactivate
their
The purpose of the energy clubs, there are a couple of objectives. Education, yes. So we get the young people involved in tangible action, tangible ways of learning about energy. So they're involved, they're exposed to the operations of the power company. They also get involved in their own research and creativity to, just learn more tangibly, hands-on about energy. Whatever they do, it actually should support the curricula for the CSEC and
science and technology
and CAPE. So that's one, and the energy clubs also allow for some socializing, some outreach. So a lot of energy clubs, like Immaculate, is still very active. They have their own little projects, and the students really are very very creative.
Yeah, it's a great complement to even an inventors club and anything with science and technology.
Right. So you find the
innovation clubs, right?
Science club, and they actually some of them merge these clubs.
Yep. So Earl Brown says, good morning, Miss Winsome. Are the trees native trees to Jamaica? How many % of the trees are fruit trees?
Well, I can't answer the second question because I don't know. I will have to check with the forestry department. But yes, the trees are native to Jamaica.
You got your answer, Mr. Brown. But the business about fruit trees comes up all the time, really, because a lot of our listeners are pressing for food security and for, obviously, Jamaicans to be able to feed from what we produce here. The fruit trees part.
But again, I need to talk about those trees that are close to power lines. We've had some electrocutions, electrical shocks, because people, including children, are trying to pick the fruit from the fruit trees that are close to the power lines. So there are two things I need our listeners to bear in mind. One, if you already have a tree that could go into the power line, make sure that you keep it trimmed. If it has already grown into the power line, you need to call JPS and ask us for advice. In some cases, we will turn the power off so that you can cut it. In some cases, we cut it depending on the circumstance.
Yes.
But the important thing, there's some communities where the power lines were installed before the houses were built. So the houses, they are built in front of the power lines, and you find the lines running in people's backyards.
In the backyard.
In those cases, we have a lot of trees that have been planted, and so we have to have access to the people's property to cut the trees. And what we find, people resisting this a lot. I mean, Percival and some communities that grew up around the power lines, they don't want us to come in to cut the trees because it's their fruit trees.
And it's their fruit trees.
It's their orchid tree. And the breadfruit tree, and those are big trees. They are big trees. And so we have this with our customers, we're saying, guys, it's for your benefit, because you have so many outages because of these trees touching the lines.
So the public education have to increase that people understand that.
We absolutely.
But you know, even we're in an age now when regulations are a frequent resort to solve some of these problems. The easement that JPS enjoys for their wires and their poles and so on, doesn't it come with, I shouldn't ask you that, it ought to come with access, rights of access, just based on notice.
Yes.
And accepting liability for legally. Right. So that one doesn't even have to be quarreling with a landowner, because I tell you.
Well, in theory, we do have access, right of access, but when you go to a man's house and they set him bad dog and tie you and lock the gate, you have to have a conversation.
So then it is sensitization.
So we've made some headway. We've made some headway, and I believe that our teams on the ground have been engaging the customers. Absolutely. So door-to-door conversations, explaining to them and giving them the alternatives, showing them that if you plant the tree over here, yes, you might have to wait 4 years for it
to get that fruit.
But it's a start. It's a start by replanting or relocating.
Do you see how many things happening in contemporary times that require us to just be able to talk to each other better?
I'm telling you, we're so dependent on the gadgets and sending, but a face-to-face conversation is all you need. It's so much more effective than just sending out. I mean, I love radio because people are listening, but that's not enough.
It's
in
not
a lot
enough.
of cases.
And
it doesn't always reach everyone.
Yeah, you have to try and look somebody in the eye and make your point.
And give them an opportunity to ask you and to have the,
so it feels like a negotiated result.
Look in our face. Huh?
All right. Patrick Howell has more for you. Hello. Miss Winsome, he says here, being an electrical engineer, I would suggest to JPS that they spend some time advising customers to use a certified electrician to carry out leakage current tests. Leakage current contributes to high electricity usage.
Thank you for that, Mr. Howell. You are correct, because in a lot of cases when persons come to us, they say their bills are high, and we go out to do the investigation, or they get an electrician, they find that there's nothing wrong with the meter, there's leakage current. And we ask our customers to get an electrician to check your wiring and grounding every year, because it deteriorates over time.
This means throughout your whole house now.
Especially older homes, you'll find that the
house is very old.
A big problem. And once
where does leakage occur? From what point?
You actually have that in the wires themselves that may break or get corroded. You have it at the points, the connection points also, where you have.
Meaning your plugs.
in some cases, yes.
And the fixture.
And in the actual wiring, so I've seen the electrician pull out the wiring, and you see the frayed wires. You know that current is leaking there.
And that could cause fires and stuff.
That could cause fires, yes.
Ooh, wow.
So it's a safety issue as well as a money issue.
So get the electrician, and yes, he's correct, a certified, trained electrician, and you can find a list of those on the Ministry of Energy's website.
So let me ask a simple question. I won't go deeper into it. Is there any way to conduct these tests without pulling out all the wires out of your house?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Just me. So she was saying when the man conducted it there.
No, but if
it's not about pulling it.
You don't have to literally look at the wire to know.
No, they have these fancy gadgets that they use to check the different
against the wall.
Yes.
Okay. I just imagine.
I can imagine. You literalize it, you know.
But not just that.
So you pull it out is when you're replacing
it.
Yeah.
Because some persons are in houses where they don't even know where the wires run. They just know where the plug is.
The electrician will help you with that.
So the idea of conducting these tests,
the important thing,
it becomes an expense. What is like the average cost of doing something like that? Is it very expensive?
She don't know. She don't know.
What do you think, Percy? Very expensive?
All right, so that is now what they call privatized, and it's not really regulated. So one electrician might charge you X and another Y. So we encourage persons to check around.
You know, and the reason I raise it is that these preventative measures are important. But for someone on a budget, if my bill is $50,000 and running the test is $40,000, I'm going to pay my bill.
Absolutely, but
long term, it's necessary.
And here's what you do: you recognize that there's some things that are important when you own a home or you rent a home. Upkeep of the house. You plan to paint it, right?
Yes.
And if there's a leak in the roof, you fix that, right?
Yeah,
and if the window pane breaks, you fix that, right? You replace
I can paint one room at a time.
And so
check it one plug at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not necessarily one plug at a time. But here's what you do: you plan that, okay, in another 6 months, this is what I need to do.
Give it the priority in your budget.
I see a leak in my house. I said, well, I can't deal with that till about January next year. Things like that. You have to plan ahead.
It, yeah.
It's very important, and at the end of the day, you could be saving your very own life.
How often would you say one should conduct that test in a house?
So once a year. That's what.
Ideally, once a year.
You hear that, Lowell? I'm putting it in my schedule. Plant it in the producer's head.
It's important as you press the words.
Percy's about to renovate, so you're going to.
Yeah, you have to do it. The electrician to come and check the homes and see what's happening in regards to the pothead, all of the things.
Yeah.
Because so one tenant was complaining, I just said to the electrician who was certified, said, it's a pothead, you need to clean it up and
fix it. And some people like me, we just set it and forget it because, you know, it looked nice, and so we have to be reminded and you have to write it down that, okay, I need to make sure that I take care of A, B, and C.
Yeah. I've done rewiring, but I've never done a leakage test. And I suspect that
I think
it's necessary.
They did that before they did the rewiring.
Yeah, but the rewiring was a while back.
Okay. so get them to come in, check your wiring and ground.
Yes, that is.
And that's important because we protect our homes against lightning strikes, against leakage, against.
So it's both safety as well as good economy. So that's the tip of the day from JPS. I really absorbed that one.
So quick, Sharon, I remind the producer.
It's very important.
No, madam, it's a big point you've made there.
And
thank you, Mr. Howell, also.
Right close to home.
Yes.
But I also want to remind our customers, in addition to remembering to get the leakage test done, do not plant trees near JPS lines.
Yes.
We really have too many outages. We have too many outages associated with trees coming in contact with the lines. We need the trees. We absolutely want food security and energy security, but don't plant them.
And that again is both safety and economy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you save yourself. It seems like the half hour just evaporates.
It flew past.
Very quickly.
It's when
you want to stay with us for 5 minutes after the break? I always try. But it's been wonderful to have you with us as always. Thank you for the useful tips. They are personal to me as well as for what you offer to our listeners.
Thank you so much.
You are most welcome. All right. Should we take our 9 o'clock break? All right.
You can hear, a difference you can feel.
Bess FM, keep listening.
Come in, my DJ,
and give the people the information. Hear this: before a hurricane come, you have to go through a list of things where you need and things where you have to fix, like your roof, your doors and your window them. Buy your nails, hooks and fasteners and fix them. Get your hammer, your pliers, your rope and your wire. Stock up with ply and a whole heap of lumber. Plastic tarpaulin and plastic bag. Kerosene stove and a coal stove. Kerosene lamp, matches and candle. Yo, trim the tree them and clean the drains. That's how you prepare before a hurricane. Be prepared. Prevention is better than cure. Better listen to AdBem.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
That no sound healthy at all. Get healthy, my friends. Stay balanced. Tune into this station, Bess FM-100, every Saturday morning, 8 o'clock to 9, for this wonderful program, Your Health Today, with me, Dr. Clarion Palmer. Yes, get healthy, get healthy, get healthy. Stay balanced. Bess FM-100, Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, with me, Dr. P. Get healthy.
Yes, indeed. I'm your prophet, Mark Stewart, inviting you to this one. It's a big one. It's called Midnight Ball Out. All white, all night. Portmore, St. Catherine. Come, one and all. We need to cry out to God for Jamaica in the midnight hour. We're calling each prayer warrior, evangelist, pastors, church member, sinner, backslider. Come on, come all. Midnight ball out. Breakthrough Deliverance Ministry, 18 West Tradeway, Portmore Town Center. It's gotta be. It's Friday, September 2, from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Midnight ball out. Wear something white. Come on out as we cry out to God for mercy over Jamaica. We're looking forward to see you there. Mothers of Zion, bang your belly and ball. We don't like what I'm going. See you then.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-382-528 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Half a tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, how you do I take taxi star?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? You waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. You hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
You big star. Yeah, man. Respect my boss.
I try and call him, cause trust me.
Waiters, Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
What a relief.
Bess100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minett and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Bess100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats. Best FM.
Welcome back to the Morning Connection. Our next guest is online with us, Miss Maxine Stowe, good friend and sometimes co-host. Percival, are you hearing Maxine?
Good morning, Miss Maxine. How are you?
Windy, New York.
Oh, it's windy.
Are you hearing?
Yeah, the weather is turning.
It's almost in autumn. Are we not there now? Yes, we're in
almost
autumn.
winter.
It's in autumn.
It's autumn, but we have been getting some 70, upper 70s, mid 70s.
Oh, so it's still warm.
Yeah, it's temperate, yeah.
Okay. As
So
some
how is Jamaica?
very warm and hot.
Hot. Warm is an understatement. Like right now, it's hot. And it's kind of still. We're not getting the breeze that's in New York.
Breeze. Okay.
No breeze. But the Legany Club continues to bloom. So we're missing you. I do hope that your trip to New York is proving fruitful.
Yes, well, it's home base. I'm a bi-coastal. I have a home in New York. I grew up here as a teenager. Got most of my career is here in New York, but always having Jamaica,
In the heart.
In the heart, mind, and physically, So the industry that I'm in is the Jamaican music industry. So that keeps me rooted in both, spaces.
Child of the diaspora.
Child of the diaspora.
What are you up to these days?
Well, I've been working on 2 major projects, next 3. One is myself. I'm expected to launch my website, maxinestowe.com, this weekend.
Oh.
As also launched the Wailers 50 project that has been celebrating 4 key albums of the Wailers' career. Soul Rebel, Soul Revolution, Catch a Fire, and Burning albums. And so it was kind of stalled because of COVID and Bunny Wailer's transition. But we are,
back on track.
Getting together now, back on track, and working closely with the Peter Tosh Estate for his Earth Strong next week, where through the research and development, we found that the Burning album was actually released on his birthday, October 19, 1973.
Okay.
And so this marks the first time that, Peter is being, integrated. His birthday is going to be integrated with the release of the album, which is good for the project because then it highlights that these projects involves all three members of the Wailers because it has heavily been promoted basically by Island Records, promoting, just Bob Marley.
Bob Marley.
So, right. So this year and for the 50th, there'll be a major highlight on the celebration of both Catch a Fire, which was released April 13th, 1973. That it's the three Wailers, Bob, Peter, and Bunny, who, this
is their seminal work.
Seminal work, and all three continue to do the work as solo artists. And continue to do it in a major way, in a very tangible way, because they re-recorded a lot of the songs that they, created as the Wailers in their solo career as an extension of themselves,
So I'm pulling from this that the Wailers brand is a separate entity from the individual brand that each person may have created, and that there is some significance to it.
Yes, major. It's like the Beatles, and still you have Paul McCartney, John Lennon, Ringo Starr, and George Harrison that went on and did their own individual thing, but the Beatles brand stands. So it is with the Wailers, and even in a more integrated way, because all three Wailers are Rastafari, and all three Wailers' music is, comes from the same well,
The same pool.
and the same catalog,
Yes.
same catalog.
Yes.
So One Love, Stepping Razor, Dreamland, a lot of songs that are identified with them as solo artists are actually Wailer songs that they, but it's not marketed
That way. That's a very interesting point you're making, because Percy and I have been talking about the wealth of culture and the culture that wealth, the wealth that you can extract from culture. And I hear you now saying that there is an opportunity for these artists, for I guess any artist who's a part of a group, to earn twice. You can earn from your solo career, but if you keep your group brand alive, you can continue to earn from that as well.
Which is what happened, that is what is happening.
Exactly where it is. And not only that, but you now have the industry of tribute groups.
Yes.
Right? So different from you being alive, your estate can now earn not only from you as a solo and the group, but you can also now earn from tribute groups.
Right.
Tribute bands is
A whole industry.
You want to explain that a bit for us, Maxine? Tribute bands, what do you mean by that?
Well, bands that continue.
They create an existence by mimicking or popularizing the songs of, whomever their hero is. Like how you have the Elvis Presley impersonators, yes.
Oh, so you
and
mean,
Michael
okay.
Jackson.
Okay.
Or Grateful Dead.
Yes.
Or any amount of them.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Sometimes they're launched when one single member is left, and they get other other people around them. But the issue is that even if I'm the Temptations or the Wailers,
Yes.
what I'm doing is still promoting the original work, the original identity. So it
keeps it
my
alive.
brand and my music alive. Yes.
Alive. And sometimes it refreshes it.
It does. Like we have developed a Wailers Trio tribute band to go along with the Wailers 50.
Okay.
And so it also promotes individual artists. You understand? Because 3 individual artists come together under the Wailers Trio. They promote the Wailers catalog, but they also promote themselves.
themselves, and then they can go back to their solo lives, do their work, and come together when they choose to as the tribute. It's a fantastic idea. To bring it into our culture is a great move on your part, Maxine. I commend you for that, because a lot of the great reggae artists are no more, and we are suffering and complaining that the new music that's coming out doesn't carry with it the influence and power of the previous generation. And a tribute group or band or performer is an excellent way to bring it back to life.
Yeah, definitely. And it's different from like a son or a daughter.
Doing yes.
No.
I see what you mean.
It's a different energy.
Yes.
Because a son or a daughter do, like Natalie Cole.
Singing your father's music. Yes.
Music is still different from a tribute entity that would be singing Nat King Cole.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's still a differentiation in carrying on the legacy, and we haven't, and in fact, I look at a band like the Scatterlights, which is a foundation band.
That that name came to mind.
99% of the group is no longer. I think it's only one person, Lester Sterling.
We're still
And
alive.
he's not even playing, right? But he's still not playing. But Scatterlights is now existing. It's still playing.
Yes. Yeah.
But it now needs to be understood that that's a tribute band. It's no longer the original band, because the original members and what they've, created
Have either retired or transitioned.
are transitioned, and they're now in
Yeah.
state.
Yeah.
But they own the intellectual property. You can go and you can sing and earn,
Yes.
but you can't sell Wailers or Scatterlights merchandise,
Mm-hmm.
because you're just a tribute.
Right. You wouldn't have the ownership or the rights to do so.
That's a fantastic idea, though.
Yeah.
Probably I could form a tribute band, but the only thing that could happen is that I can't sing. So I probably could bring together
A
people
group.
who can sing and say, let's do a tribute band, I'll manage you.
And yes, yeah. Invest in it. No, it is such an.
Like the Maytals. I think the Maytals is another
That's an opportunity.
opportunity.
That is an opportunity.
Because we have the Mighty Diamonds. I don't know what is happening with them. They may be moving towards that now.
Well, you see, when you're making these suggestions, it means you're coming home soon, because who's going to bring, who is going to do that? You and I have had conversations about how to extend the life, to bring longevity to some of these cultural assets, and we're just kind of seeing the tip of the iceberg with what can be done.
Yeah, because the world will be tributing us.
Mm-hmm.
And we, the same problem we're having with everything when we don't promote these amongst ourselves is that others are going to do it.
Who see the value in it, will,
See the value,
yeah,
know the industry exists.
they'll take it
And
up.
then you'll find that, right, for example, I think there's a Bob Marley musical that is going on very well in England.
Yes,
Why isn't there a musical being created in Jamaica?
in Jamaica.
From our stuff? Not to deride whatever, but that's what I'm saying. We
Yes.
should be going, there's a musical in London.
We
should be.
No, earlier, Percy and I were commenting on this, saying that nature abhors a vacuum. If the thing is left to spoil, something is gonna move in and take up the space. And I think that's the point you're making.
A lot of things have moved in and taken up our space, and we're choking.
And then we have to fight to reclaim it. Well, I'm glad you're on the front lines, doing some of the heavy lifting.
Let me ask you a question, Maxine. In just following the idea of the tribute band, in your travels, like in the US or wherever you've gone where the music is, have you seen groups emerging like you have the Wailers? Is there a tribute band that is operational now anywhere, or is there?
I think yes.
And say simmer down.
Say that they are the simmer down band.
Okay, okay. So now you all right. So now I'm understanding. So if you meet a band that is simmer down, what you'll find them playing is a lot of Wailers music.
Wailers, exactly.
Ah, no, I'm getting a
and
better.
sometimes it's Bob Marley music because they don't know the difference
They don't know
between
Wailers
the Bob
as a
Marley
brand.
catalog and the Wailers catalog.
Okay.
Ah.
That's what the Wailers 50 is about. Restoring the Wailers identity and linking it to their catalog so that we're of which Bob Marley is a member, 1962 to 74, that work, and also to educate about the solo careers.
Okay, of the individual guys.
That they're based on no, it's heavily based
on the Wailers production.
On the Wailers production.
Okay.
So by educating that, then you won't hear about them broke up and
yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Everybody trying to understand this and that, and they go to pains to say in their individual careers that they're all Wailers. They'll never stop being Wailers, or
Yeah.
etc. But there hasn't been a business
side to it
around that.
Okay.
Around that identity.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So how are you?
So that's what our company and our, that's what we're doing.
That's what you're addressing. That's like, that's like the building is fully built and you're going in at the foundation to restore integrity and see what comes after that. It's a very interesting. It's not even an approach. You're just doing what is necessary at this time. Should have been done already, but now is the time that it's getting done. It's going to be interesting to see how it influences things going forward. Now, how are you going to launch or just draw your line in the sand? What events are planned?
Well, it's a year of events beginning with the 49th anniversary of burning, which is
on the 19th.
On Wednesday, on the 19th, and it goes straight forward to the 50th, which is the October 19th, 2023.
Okay.
So within that year, we have several events and opportunities and activations and negotiations. Because as you know, these albums are owned by Universal, the group, right? And what is happening is that we now, in establishing this platform, are educating them as to our, because they're not doing this. They've never done this. This is the first year Peter Tosh is being identified, the Burning album. They're in Get Up, Stand Up, just to give people understanding the track,
Yes.
That are on these albums. Reincarnated Soul.
400 years.
400 years. All of that is in this body of work. So we are expecting negotiation, with the major Universal as to how this is going to crescendo. Our platform is called the 4 Stages of Fire, because you have Catch a Fire, built on Soul Rebel and Soul Revolution. So, it's a chock full of identity.
Wow.
But the 4 stages of fire are ignition, growth, fully enveloped, and then decay, right? So over the year, we have 4 different chapters that we have projects linked to it, activations linked. We have a national poster contest. We have about 20 images of the Wailers that we're to be presenting to specifically the artists of Jamaica. Because right now we have an international reggae poster competition. Where you have 1,000 entries and only 2 from Jamaica.
Wow.
Right? So we, looking at that and looking at the success of that, we are using this project to, drill down on our artists in Jamaica and, helping them to even be more involved.
To find a place in it.
International reggae, competition and what, what that organ. And as you know, we have the statue of the whalers.
Yes.
That we're looking to build out life size. Our space that we'd like to go is at Bournemouth in East Kingston there, based on the history of the whalers and the scatterlights and the history of Bournemouth as a major,
Bon, that is,
heritage
I think the statue is going to deserve a conversation all on its own, including what you're proposing for Bournemouth.
Right. Yes, so it starts on the 19th, and our next major platform obviously would be early next year. You have both Bob Marley's birthday, you have Reggae Month, you have Bunny's birthday,
Yeah.
So a whole bunch of activations. We have music to release. We have
What?
What you call it?
So we can get a prelude?
Well, I was going to
Pre-release?
beg that. When will we get something from the tribute group?
You heard it first on. You heard it first on Bess.
And Pastor want to be the show to Morning Connection to be the one of the first to play some of the tribute groups output.
In Rastafari language, we don't say weak.
Yeah. Oh.
We say strong.
Oh. I just realized now what you meant.
Yes. Yeah. So it's strong of 7 days. So we'll be able after the premiere on Peter's Earth Strong.
Yeah.
We'll be able to,
Yeah.
spread it out.
All right. Well, we are staking our claim on being amongst the first. I'm sure that we are entitled to some favored nation treatment. Thank you, Maxine. We have come up on the break. Amazing. It's 9:29. I certainly will call you back so we can wrap up the interview after the break.
Okay.
All right. Good.
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. You're simply the best.
Bess FM 100.5 on your dial. Keep listening.
Warning, when there is a hurricane warning, button down, tie down, everything. Lift appliances and furniture off the ground and secure your valuable items. If you wanna boat, secure it on land and turn on your yard if you a fisherman. Make sure you turn off every breaker, and before you sleep, turn off your generator. Flooding, that is a real danger. If you live a gully bank, river bank, or low line area, if you see flood waters are rising, get out, get out. Heed the warning. If your land starts slipping and a sliding, get out, get out. Heed the warning. Hurricanes gonna happen, so be prepared. A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management. Warning, when there is a hurricane warning, button down, tie down, everything. Lift appliances and furniture off the ground and secure your valuable items. If you wanna boat, secure it on land and turn on your yard if you a fisherman. Make sure you turn off every breaker, and before you sleep, turn off your generator. Flooding, that is a real danger. If you live a gully bank, river bank, or low line area, if you see flood waters are rising, get out, get out. Heed the warning. If your land starts slipping and a sliding, get out, get out. Heed the warning. Hurricanes gonna happen, so be
be prepared. A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-382-528 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Easy. Let not your hearts be troubled. Just believe in God Almighty and daily renew the mind. As we live in this time when fake is more valued than real, lies prefer the truth, the unnatural put above the natural. This is Lady Donna, aka Double D Don, with a new song, Almighty Jah, encouraging your people to keep the faith. God will make a way. Get your copy today. It's on all digital platforms. Lady Donna Official on Instagram, Facebook, AsujaRecords.com. For bookings, Asuja Record label at Gmail. Almighty Jah.
Half a tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, how you do I take taxi style?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? You waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. You hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
You big star. Yeah, man. Respect my boss.
I try and call him, cause trust me.
Waiters Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
What a relief.
Bess100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minett and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Bess100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back, and of course, thank you for staying with us. In this final segment, we're just going to wrap up our conversation with Maxine and then, show our appreciation for your faithfulness during the week. Maxine, you still online?
Yeah, bless here.
Yeah. All right, so you gave us a lot to think about, Percival and myself, just understanding what you downloaded to us earlier concerning the significance of preserving or building up the brand of the group identity. Something that we have seen done for other significant groups. You mentioned the Beatles. Everybody knows that one. People know the Beatles more than they know the individual members, and that band has not performed in 1,000 years. So we do understand the value of the group identity.
And my relationship is as such, because the Wailers, just by working the other day, I didn't even remember that I was compilation producer for both Catch a Fine and Burning when I was vice president of A&R at Island Records. They came out in 2001. And then, as you know, my uncle, Clement Dodware, started in the business.
Yeah.
That is where the group was actually fashioned with, the Scatterlights and, One Love. And simmer down, and over 100 songs were created by them, in that
Wow.
period. So I'm able, and then obviously my work with the late Honorable Bonnie Wheeler gave me a bird's eye view, on the process and the challenges.
Can I tell you?
I'm able.
Earlier in the show, I was telling Percival that a unicorn is a mythical creature, that a unicorn don't exist. But you are a unicorn. Just your...
Well, my experience has been unicorn.
Yes.
Yes,
That is the definition, because, I mean, you're not a person of antiquity, and yet you have had a personal connection across time with some very significant cultural assets that has put you uniquely in a position to do what you're doing today. How does it impact, I guess, your chance of success? Because I think many may have even attempted or dreamt of it, but you seem to be uniquely placed to succeed. Interesting.
I promise you we're gonna rock it, baby, tonight. We rock it, baby, tonight. Gonna rock it, baby,
Right, regardless of whether you like it or not, or whatever, or what your opinion is, or what narrative you have developed, I do have a mission, that life has put together, and so, I accept it, and out of it, fruits are arising.
Yeah.
All of these things are arising. Even my sojourn here in America, it is important, because I find, even being here now for the next project that I'm heavily involved in, which is the Dancehall Music Museum, that we have to find a way to raise the funding for the large objective out of the international market.
Yes.
And so, I realize that you can't do it out of Jamaica. You can talk about it, but you have to do it in the market.
The field of play is external.
Field of play is external.
Why is that?
Something that being in Jamaica we have not
We haven't fully understood it.
And created our relationships with our own Jamaica.
That are pet to us. What you are doing has such a wide reach for the common person that it's not the kind of project that I think our leaders.
Like Obama, Obama was successful because when he, was raising money, because he developed a formula where the ordinary person would put the $10, the $5, you understand?
Yes.
To affect change. Before you had to be, a big person with a writing a check.
To get a one big check.
To get a one big check. To have that influence on the political system. And I think that is not just for politics, but even for our culture. That, there are more of us with $5
than you have one person with $1 million.
One person.
Yeah.
And then you have to wait with that person, how that person thinks.
Yes,
Whatever.
and suit his personal needs.
Right. So that is one of the members of both the Whalers 50 Project and the Dancehall Museum that I've been able to,
Activate.
integrate and activate.
Yeah.
And it will be a major feature of how the small person, small consumer
Can have a say. Yeah.
Yes, in how this is, and not just
The big man.
larger entities,
The big man.
political.
Yeah.
Or yeah, I do appreciate what you're saying.
Because-
And it's very well said.
Because I think what you're saying, Maxine, is very important. Because when the small person or the greater mass have a say and feel a greater part of the project, then it is sustained.
Well, look at what is it? Cash pot. They're making billions because the small person can take the $20.
The $20
You mean the Supreme,
and
yeah.
the $50.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
And divine. So
Yes.
You need
we
that.
need to expand that towards the culture.
Something that gives back to those communities.
Back and has something, because the reason why that can happen is because everywhere you have a cash pot machine, everywhere
it's pervasive.
man can run right, so we need to have a music machine.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes.
Where people can go and put the $20 and then, you understand?
And be a part of it. Yeah.
So that even this thing that happening now with the banning of the music and
Yes.
so on and so forth, that maybe you wanted to ban it yourself, I don't know.
Well, you're coming back because we have to have a discussion on it. Yeah, censorship and public morality they're just like any
It's
other.
a big thing here. It's
Yeah.
a big thing in America. It's the same thing in Jamaica. They're struggling with it.
Yes, yeah, nothing new
Our one
under
is
the
a bit
sun.
more raw, but trust me, it's not a Jamaica only.
No, it's a people issue. Anywhere people are, that will come up from time to time. And whenever you drive something underground, it only becomes richer and more influential.
Which is nature.
Yeah,
So sometimes it's time to drive it underground.
So it can grow. All right, you see now you're bringing out the rebel in me. Thank you so much, Maxine. I do look
I
forward
thought
to
that was
seeing
my
you.
purview.
To bring out the rebel. But you sat quietly and let Maxine do it.
The rebel in me, such a rebel in you.
You made Percy light up his spirit group. Please hurry home so we can continue the conversations. Take care and thank you for participating.
Take care. You know that as Maxine said that I think the only way for something to be sustainable is when the greater mass have an input in it, because then it will not die. The legacy will be passed on in terms of everything. So it's a principle.
It's a kingdom principle.
A principle of engagement, of people buying in and everybody seeing the good of it and say, oh yes, I'm a part of it. So if I have a little part of it, then when I see you trying to destroy it with your not good intentions, I'm not going to allow that.
But it also allows for it to mutate into its next fruitful iteration. Earlier in the week, we spoke about matter always changing, never being the same. And each hand that touches it adds something to it or takes away something from it, depending on what you're doing.
Never destroy it.
It is, the scientist in you woke up a while ago. I heard you say can never be destroyed.
Can never be destroyed.
Yeah, transference only.
Yeah.
So the more people who are in the chain, handling it, dealing with it, then you see it surviving and becoming something new and fresh and always though carrying the genealogy of its point of origin.
Original DNA.
And music, our music has done that. We're right now looking at every kind of variation
Tell me
of
about
the
it.
Jamaican sound being replicated, honored, enjoyed all over the world. I love what she's doing. She said so many things that's worthy of like a full discussion. We can only like pick one or two of them. You like the tribute group because I see you already rifling through your old records and seeing which tribute group you should invest in.
I'll be
Just
the
know that
manager.
the whale's already taken.
The Whalers are probably
The
mighty
Whalers.
Heptones or the Heptones or the mighty Diamonds.
But you know that you could probably light up tribute groups in different regions. So you
True.
could have an Asian whalers tribute group, and
True.
then every now and then they come together and have a competition.
A major big
And then they
concert.
see who's, yeah, you could do that, because when they do like that industry of impersonators, they have competitions.
To say who does the best
Who's the
rendition of a
best-
song.
Yeah, who's the
Who
best?
touches
Michael
my
Jackson,
heart.
Who's the best? Elvis Presley, whatever, and they have conferences.
Mm.
Let me tell you,
The whole industry.
A whole industry can be born out of it. Just imagine every lookalike whaler coming to Jamaica for the annual conference in Trenchtown. We'd need a hotel.
The hotel to
And
sustain
right
and
there,
keep
the
it.
hotel is born.
A spin-off
The convention center
is
is born.
born right down there.
Because, yeah, you see it, how it has developed around great personalities in the cultural space in America.
I really
And
like
that's
the
what she's
concept.
talking
That was
about. I
real
love the
education
concept
for
of
me in terms of the
Yeah.
tribute groups.
Yeah.
I know it maintains the legacy of what has happened and keeps moving it forward to another level.
Keep the light shining, man.
Yeah, man.
And then you do collaborations with contemporary artists, so you get a sense of what it would be like if the Wailers did something with Lady Gaga.
Okay.
Just to take, two disparate
That should be
forces.
interesting. Or
Yeah.
Madonna.
Or Madonna.
Yes.
Because so those things become possible when you use that methodology to keep your
Or they would
story
say,
going.
no, man.
One day we're going to have a Pastor Percy tribute. Tribute pastor. I would say. And as Percy would say.
No, I would not say.
Or as Percy would not say.
Firebun
Yeah,
Babylon.
but interesting things. I thought we would end the show on that note, because we are still very interested in understanding how our culture can be the great resource that I know that it really is. When you look at it, how we cook our food, how we dress, our music, our speech, or songwriting, or screenplays, everything we put out. There is a world. How many billions of people in the world? 7, 8?
Yeah.
Did I just add to it? There's a world out there hungry for
Things
good
Jamaica.
entertainment, and Jamaica is a brand that sells.
All over the world.
Yes, that sells all over the world.
Can you imagine that?
Appetite for it is. There are not enough people in Jamaica to satisfy
Right, the
the
demand.
appetite,
The
the
demand
demand
that's
that
out
is
there.
there. So I know that our culture has the
potential.
the potential to create great wealth for the people of this
Every
country.
single Jamaican.
Mhm. Yeah, I know that it does. And I have we were talking about prophecies. I have the understanding that it will, but we have to teach persons to respect and to honor it, and to see it for the value that it holds. And it's only then that you're going to be able to share it with the world in a respectful way. And it won't be just by singing songs that tell the story of our misdeeds. Some time ago, it's as if I saw this day coming. Do you remember when I was taking you and Lowell through Miriam's song? The prophetess Miriam, sister to Moses,
She was singing about
did a song
when they came through Moses and what God had
telling
done.
the
Exodus.
tales of a battle and a victory.
Mhm.
And the song was graphic in its recollection of
All
how,
other things.
Absolutely. And I was saying, in those days, the prophetess Miriam was really narrating the record of what transpired in the society, and it was a bloody record.
Mm-hmm.
Would that have been banned as glorifying
She was just
violence?
telling it, but I think it was one time, but I guess the problem is you keep repeating it over and over again.
Yeah.
You think that's what I'm
No,
thinking?
but you see, now we have the technology that can play it many times. This song was written so that the children of Israel could learn it
not forget.
and use it to tell of God's greatness in rescuing them, in saving them. That was the purpose of the song. Now, many might say that was not criminality, that was legitimate war. And telling the story of your military victories is not perpetuating tales of horror and gore, bloody encounters. But to the person reading it, it's the same thing. When you're reading it and you see what it's talking about, how many dead, how much blood, how much, that's what it is.
Should be interesting.
And the reason I had raised it, you're looking for it. But Miriam's song, remember Deborah, the prophetess Deborah, who that other victory too, there was a song. It was very much the thing to commemorate these events in your history through songs.
That's true.
Because that's how you handed them down from one generation to the next.
You go through the songs, it's different songs. Like, you always say, mash their teeth, and yes, you're
break their teeth.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so violent. Why am I saying this? It is just to guard against going too far in the direction of thinking that when you shut down the repetition of a thing or the publication of a thing, you have actually addressed the behaviors that gave birth to it. You have not addressed it at all.
The root. You never to the root.
Yes. And there really ought to be a place where these things can be documented and recorded, and we know that we were at this place. Because that, in many ways, is how you prevent a repeat of some unfortunate parts of your history.
Yeah.
Not bashing the Broadcasting Commission for what they've done. That's the space in which they operate, and every man has to do what he can in his space. But you must do it knowing that it is only a small drop in the bucket of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Public morality is to be safeguarded by public institutions. So in our schools, we speak against certain things being a part of it. On the airwaves, we speak against certain things being, in the public space. That's the authority we have, and it's what we can do. But it would be a huge mistake to think that by shutting down one thing, you have actually...
You're not doing it. You have to go to the root.
You have to go to the root. You still have to. May I just say then, thank you very much to all who have participated in this morning's free-flowing Thursday exercise. Thursday is the new Friday for us. Is it new anymore? It's been a year since we've been saying that. We start our weekend today, is what I mean to say. So you all have a wonderful weekend, and thank you very much. On air, online, and right here on site at the Ligony Club, back in the studio. Lloyd, thank you so much. Pastor Percival, your turn.
To say bye-bye. Thank you very much. It has been a very interesting time of conversation. As we go into the weekend, I invite you just to ponder your actions and to remember whatever you do, at some point in time, you'll be brought to book, you'll be held accountable. So if you start with the right motivation, then it means that you're sowing the right seeds and you get the right harvest and the right rewards. And this is for everybody, those high up, those low down, those in the middle. Just let's ensure that when we are thinking and we get up each day, say, Father, am I serving you in the way I should, honoring you? And am I loving you the way I should, but am I also loving my neighbor as myself? Food for thought. Have a wonderful weekend. Please do not buck your toe as you go about your business day to day.
All right, sir. Wear shoes. Bye.
Sugar all over her booga wooga. I think I might join the fun, but I had to hit and run. See, I just can't settle down in a kinky part of town.